And welcome to Anonymous Bites Back, episode 109. We are back on the air and being shout out to Commander X. We are being rebroadcasted on his radio station. Let me see if I can pull it up really quick.
It's Anon Global Radio.
.ch.
Anon.
Yeah. Well, we have quite a few things to talk about. One of them's kind of like more urgent than the other thing. We had a fellow Anon. You guys might have heard about it. Akron Phoenix 420. Out there with the Ohio Anons. He was detained and arrested on was it? I think it was last week. Um, and it's not looking too good. If you guys can go out there on your Twitter feeds and post pound free Akron Phoenix 420, or you can look at his Twitter account. I'm not sure who's control of it, but it's still online. It's at Akron Phoenix 420 on Twitter.
Well, do we know what he was actually charged with,
Yes, I
or
do.
what was?
He was charged with, from what I'm looking at the legal documents that were filed on May 10th, or the complaint from the FBI was it's a violation of the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, and specifically it's for distributed denial of service attack. What they're saying on it was a government website and police websites, and their evidence was pertaining to what they're saying was Twitter posting or something like that as evidence, which he can fight it. He does have some really good lawyers out there, but me being a fellow inmate multiple times in my life. If you guys can, I'll try and get some information out there. But things he will need is commissary money to get stuff. So I will try and get that as soon as I can get the location of where he is at. Um, any bit helps while you're in there. Um, it just sucks when it happens to people that you know.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
would,
So
for the other people that are posting on their sites, get people to repost that same information so it starts, so it brings light to it, because they like to lock us up and then throw away the key, and they'll trump up charges, they'll do all this stuff, and to be honest, once you're out of the limelight, a lot of times people do forget about you. We got to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and I feel like this, because Matt DeHart didn't get a lot of coverage like Jeremy Hammond and stuff like that, which were some bigger hacks, and what happened to Matt DeHart, wasn't always in the limelight, and I feel that if we don't put what's happening into um, with I'll just go by his handle, but not by his real name. With Akron Phoenix 420, um, it I feel like we have to put this on Spotlight because you know what I mean.
yeah, and he's
Yeah,
being
I
made
mean,
an
look.
example by them. They say they want to scare other Anons, and that's why they're going so hard on him. They're going full force on him, and yeah, he needs our help.
Is anybody hearing radio interference?
Yeah, I've got like a buzz
Not
in
on
the
my end.
background.
Did it go away?
There-
Hello.
It's like super far
Yeah,
away here. I do hear it.
Can you hear me?
Oh, hey, what's going on? Hey, Preston.
Sorry, man. It's overslept here.
Oh, I thought I was trying to get a hold of you on another platform. I was like, oh shit, maybe he's sick or something.
yeah, we were worried about it. We're like, fuck, they got to him.
But yeah, like I don't want to throw any numbers out there, but we were talking on the back channels. Is that it looks, when you're dealing with cases like this, that they want to do is they want to throw the book at you to make an example of you, and that's not something I want to have happen to him.
No, and that's something that we've seen, a tactic that they've been using, quite a bit. If you look at things that have happened at protests and things with water protectors recently, and they'll arrest people with these insane, trumped up charges, and there's no rebuttal to it. The truth doesn't get out. You've got the statement from them, no matter how untrue it was about events, about all of it, and then there isn't a rebuttal with, no, we were there. That is totally not what happened. They arrest you and try to make these examples of you, and they do broadcast it out. They do make sure that the information that people know is wrong.
Yeah, and they're also, also like in the articles that have been posted is that, he's been cooperating with the authorities. We don't know that. The person who wrote the article doesn't know that.
No.
It's all
taken
hearsay.
Out of context.
Yes.
Taken out of context because we've just read it in this criminal complaint thing, this affidavit or something. We've just read that he was told when they raided his house that he was allowed to leave, and then he said, "No, I will cooperate with you, so I'll stay." So it had nothing to do with the rest of his case, just the fact that they were raiding his house and he didn't want to leave at that moment.
Yeah, and
and that's,
go ahead.
That's the kind of misinformation that I'm talking about. When you see we see this over and over and over with these agencies that come out and make statements like that. In what they're saying is going down is not what happened at all. And to scare other people, he's working with police. He didn't resist you when you arrested him. That's not working with you guys. You know what I mean? It's those kind of statements, and you don't always know. You know that if they're talking, it's a lie. It's the FBI guys.
Yeah, and my biggest fear is that when I this is just a little TMI about me, but I once had a charge where I was going to face 13 years behind bars. And when you get behind bars, they get you in these rooms and they ask you to start saying things to try and self-incriminate you, and you know what I mean? Like, it's always a scary place to be, especially when you're I never had to deal with the FBI, but it's a scary place to fucking be, you know what I mean?
Well, look at what they've done to Red Fawn, right? With Leonard Portier, right? I mean, pretty much political prisoners to make examples of them. And I mean, so far they went through 10 different stories of why they need to destroy Red Fawn's life. Right. First, they said that she had this illegal gun. Well, then it turned out that was your gun planted by your guys, which is an operation that they, that leaked out that everybody knows about now. They checked the firearms. Her fingerprints aren't on them. Like everything is against them, but yet they constantly come out and make statements just like they're making here. And it is to make an example of you. They'll let her out of prison for a day and then send SWAT teams to go arrest her in front of everybody the next day.
Yes, see, you know what else I don't understand about this case is why. Okay, what they're saying is that the event happened 1 year ago, but yet they're raiding his house almost 9 months to the day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and these, some of that is they won't, they'll let things fly for a while to get as much information as possible. So that doesn't particularly, there's an investigation of it. So let's say there is a, DOS attack or something, anything like that. They may watch you for quite a long time before they come in and bust you to see who you talk to, all of those things. But here, from what I understand, they're using like a social media post as the evidence to doing it.
Yep.
Yeah, and just because you write on there, there was a DOS attack today, great job, guys, does not mean you were the one that pulled it off.
Well, anybody, even if there's a DDoS going on, you type in checkhost, or whatever host check site that you use is not evidence that you did anything.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I would, like I said, especially if he's a person that was in the limelight already. Like I said, chances are it's just to make an example of him.
Yeah, And then there is this other part of the feed. It says like offense description is knowingly causing the transmission of a program, information, code, and command as a result of such conduct, intentionally causing damage without authorization to a protected computer. But if this is really about a denial of service, that is not like causing damage to this actual equipment, to this computer. It's like just a temporary disabling the service by like overloading with packets, unless like the server is fried or something. There's no permanent damage.
Well, and it's yeah, and it's supposed to be against the government, a government computer. Let's hope that you don't have servers that are destroyed by
DDoS.
yeah, DDoS attacks. Um, if nothing else, they're doing you a favor if that's the case. I mean, I don't. There is like you said, there is no damage involved with these attacks, which is what makes them so great.
Well, yeah,
It's just
that's
the fact that you.
Go ahead.
No, it's the ability to shut down your propaganda machine for a day.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is like when they claimed that there was damage. Yeah, there was nothing actually physically damaged, and I haven't particularly looked at their website. That they were claiming that were DDoS, but I mean, unless there was an employee login portal or whatever, there really was nothing done other than numbers or information about the departments that were offline.
Yeah.
Well, they can always get you for like denial of service or you're attacking a government site. That's
Oh yeah,
Yeah, but
definitely.
like
Like the
in theory,
fact that it's
go ahead, guys. Sorry, it's like the delay. We have
well,
to
yeah.
fix
Like a denial of service has a price tag associated with it. It's like theft of service. Like if you throw too much trash in somebody else's, commercial garbage, dumper or something like that. I mean,
well,
I
and
kind of see where they're coming from.
I mean, it's the there's a like an underlying thing here. So I mean, with the operations that the organizations that he's accused of attacking here. So what are we talking about? The FBI, the NSA. Which group of evil assassins was he is he accused of doing it? Like, they're such bad, terrible people that is kind of the Robin Hood thing. Like, it is unfortunate that they shut down your like black operations across the world for a day, but that's really a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, show me the good operation that stopped today. Well, it really put all of our plans for the false flag this weekend on hold because of this denial of, like.
You know what kind of surprised me is that like, I don't know, like, a lot of government websites have adopted Cloudflare and mitigation techniques. I'm just surprised that Ohio government agencies didn't even adopt that, and we're, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Hey, just
There's
quick
like a
heads
huge
up,
amount of money spent on one part
I
of
got a
that
quick.
system, but not on the other.
Hey, a quick heads up. Some people say that our YouTube stream is put to black some seconds. Like there are pieces being censored out of our YouTube stream. So I'm not sure, but if you get this, then maybe log into go to our Periscope thing or.
Oh wow, are we being censored again?
Well,
Yeah, literally,
they've been doing this to a lot of ours, where it just cuts out certain parts of it to the black screen. So like when we start mentioning certain things, it cuts just those pieces out.
I know they can read it. What we're saying, they can translate it into actual text because you have this option with YouTube videos now too to have this self-made subtitle system. It can be based on the words you hear on the screen, so they can actually recognize them. Yeah.
Well, and like I've got a couple of my viewers that download our stuff and repost it. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, I am getting a
I mean,
I am getting a warning from the back end from our YouTube stream that I need to slow down my keyframes. I do apologize that I do have it set. I do have the encoder set at the wrong setting, but at the same time, I have noticed, and I was talking to this on the back channels to John, that there's a bug, a censoring bug, and it's been not functioning right.
Yeah.
well, I'm sure we hit
Apparently
on
they're
so
not
many
right.
different topics by the time our show's done. I'm sure their sensors are like different groups of sensors are beating their heads against the wall.
Yeah. Well, they should. They're very serious. So they're cutting 30 minutes off each show of us, no matter what is shown like in these 30 minutes. Like it has to do with like the intro in the past contained something copyrighted, and now and the intro was 30 minutes, and now they still take these 30 minutes off it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, so I'm starting to get the action blocked for the shares. I think I shared it 3 or 4 times. That's on Facebook.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I need to get new headset. One of my headphones keeps on going out in and out. But yeah,
Yeah.
so we're hoping to get on some of the Akron, Ohio people on this show. Um, Hopefully later on in this broadcast, maybe they can shed more light into what's going on. Um,
You got the invite link.
yeah, there's some there's been also some stuff that has been going around. Attacking Akron Phoenix 420. Which I mean, you look at it this way, to people that want to attack somebody who's in trouble right now and behind bars with handcuffs, he's in a really bad situation. To criticize and to start shit, it's just proactive to try and helping him get out of the situation that he's in. It just adds that much more shit that shouldn't even be there.
Yeah, and you're not
Well, I
helping
mean,
any
we
of
have
us.
to.
You're not helping him, and you're not helping any of us. And it's like he can't defend himself, so just please wait until you actually know more about it.
Well, was there like comments about
I
the
can't get in.
attack?
Yeah, I can't get into the details, but it's people that we do know on a first name basis that are trying
Hmm.
to start this, and it's ultimately, if they're listening, if you recognize my voice, I'm just saying it's not cool. I've been in a similar
Well, no,
situation where he's been out
and
there, and starting extra drama is just.
well, and don't wait until I can't answer to start shit. So I mean, just like if you've got an issue with him or any of that, then you at least owe it to do it directly when he can talk, when he can respond to it, and not just talk shit when someone can't answer you.
Yeah, and also you just have to know that there are others who can actually answer for him, and if they keep on like starting shit with people who can defend themselves, then there will be people who will defend him, and that's that let them just be warned with that.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
All right, so North Korea, guys, the 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 peace talks have not broken down, but it went back to the like back and forth bullshit that we've been doing for the last 50 years. Because for some reason, in the middle of the peace talks, we decided to do a training operation on invading North Korea, which is the only thing that he asked. Right? You can like the guy or not like the guy. I think he's a dick, but all that he asked was, "Hey, you promise that you won't invade my country, and I'll totally get rid of my nuclear weapons. And our very next step is to, do a big elaborate training on our invasion of North Korea. It's completely insane. Like, you couldn't have thought of a better way to undermine the little bit, the little bit of strides towards peace that we obviously want or don't want, right? Do you want peace? Because those are like the only thing that he wants is that you have to promise you don't invade his country.
Yeah, I was looking at it from a standpoint from like I was actually, I think actually was listening quite extensively to some of the counter arguments of, siding towards Kim. What America wants is like it's an all or nothing, get rid of your nukes or this or we won't do X, Y, and Z. I mean, to say that to any country, to just being honest, especially if you're dealing with like a paranoid dictator from a hermit kingdom, like it does sound like a threat any way that you look at it,
Oh yeah,
Well,
it
I
is.
mean, do we intend to invade his country or not? And then you have to ask, like, okay, then what's the reason? Because outside of his country, he's got really no influence. And our only thing, like, against him being a horrible dictator is not our issue.
Yeah.
Right? At all. It's that's what this, like, generation's, thing is. Before it was communism. Now it's his nuclear program. But, our goal is to keep billions of dollars in bases and rockets and anti-missile systems being built in South Korea, and not in the pursuit of peace. I mean, the minimum to be any world leader, like, it shouldn't just be North Korea. Like, you should pretty much have a promise with anybody that you're not going to randomly invade their country.
Well, if you understood how, if you kind of watch how Trump operates, what he just did to Kim is what he does in other dealings. It's the kind of chicken shit he does, changing the deal, jamming, and trying to force you into a bad spot while he allegedly looks like the good guy. I mean, it's how you fuck up deals. That's what I'm getting to.
Yeah, like, it almost has to be on purpose, because you really couldn't do like,
yeah.
Like I said, amassing a whole bunch of ships and pretending that you're going to invade somebody on their front door, right? You could do that same mission practice in Hawaii. I'm sure plenty of people in the military would love to go and practice invading a beach in Hawaii for a couple of weeks a year. Do some sightseeing, right? Enjoy the sunshine.
Well, you got
you
Bolton.
Don't have to.
Yeah, you got Bolton coming out now saying, that Libya is the model for North Korea. Well, what does that tell you? I mean, if you can't throw it in your face hard enough.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the similar, what the Hillary was saying, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago,
Yeah, these guys are the kings of horrible ideas.
They're not that smart. If neocons and this type, the Republicans, I mean, Democrats do, because they fall for it. They're just not that smart. They make bad deals. They think they're master negotiators, but they're just fuck ups.
Well, I mean, they're trying to make it seem like the military-industrial complex doesn't exist when they do it, which is always like an underlying.
Yeah, we're going to enforce peace with M16s and shit that blows up your stuff in your country.
Yeah, and on the same time, we've got interest. We've got American interests, which always seem to be killing innocent people for their shit. That's not an interest I really want to get behind.
You don't like killing Palestinians either. I mean, that's isn't that?
I mean,
make Israel great again. Isn't that part of the deal?
Yeah, I've never seen. It's not. Look, and we've said, we've been on here 1,000 times. This is not like an anti-Semitic thing. Like, this has nothing to do with Judaism any more than America's constant march to war has to do with Christianity. Like, it's a genocide at this point, and America and Israel are the only two countries that are against stopping it in any way. I think the last time that it came up to a vote, every single country in the UN voted right, in one direction, and only on us in Israel, you know, voted in the other, voted for war, for this continued genocide. It's insanity. And it's costing us huge amounts of money at the same note. Like, even if you don't give a shit about any of that, like, it is costing America huge amounts of money to kill Palestinians. That's just not, like, that's not even good business practices.
Well, they're headstrong about it, man. They love it. And, you know, my other thing too is like, why is Trump's family there? Don't we have any ambassadors? Do we have any actual government employees rather than family members that can open up this embassy? I mean, what's that all about?
I wasn't aware
and
of
that
that.
they can't, they should, yeah, that was who went over to the embassy in Israel, you know, because we moved it. And look, what, Kushner or whatever, he doesn't even have a security clearance. Like, what do you mean open up an embassy? You can't do any of that.
Yeah, well,
But,
his George Soros is in the family. It's like his uncle. I mean, how obvious, you know, how can you be not part of the swamp when your family is the swamp? I mean, it's hard to do.
He didn't, like, we didn't listen to the rest of the sentence. So, I mean, he definitely was going to drain the swamp. He was just going to hire all of the sludge that he pulled out of it. We assumed that he meant he was going to drain the swamp and then, like, toss it away. And that wasn't the case at all. Like, no, I want you to get down and get really the bottom of the bottom, and yeah, hire those assholes. Well, I think he's down to the point he hired the Clintons' lawyer as well. Like, oh, how bad have you fucked up when you're hiring the Clintons' lawyers?
You got Giuliani in there. I mean, you know, these guys are like, you know, clowns that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
why are they getting regurgitated?
Yeah, well, Giuliani couldn't even keep the fucking secret, man. He fucking blew the shit on the fucking other lawyer, on Michael Cohen.
That's the point. Now, if I make a list of the most brilliant lawyers I can think of, Giuliani is not even close. Like, in what planet was hiring Rudy Giuliani, right? In what planet is hiring him as a defense lawyer seem like a good idea? I think maybe he's setting it up for, like, an insanity thing, right? Like, he's going to pull a Reagan and just, like, start not remembering shit. Because that's the only reason that you would hire Giuliani to do anything for you politically.
I don't know, man. Anytime you bring up Rudy Giuliani, I still have that picture, that clip in my head with him dressing up like Marilyn Monroe in New York and talking to Donald Trump.
And Trump, like, being all over him. That was so, like, especially now that what we know about everyone involved in that, right? That seems so weird. And second of all, if we're playing a weird drag game, I'm not going to be the one in fucking drag. If that doesn't say anything about the relationship between those two, I don't know what does.
Well,
you know, like, if we dress up, if we go out on Halloween as Batman and Robin, I'm fucking Batman.
You don't want to go out as Batgirl?
No, and exactly what Rudiani pulled off. Like, he's the Ward Robin. You picked that yourself.
It's just there's so much baggage there. It's like, why would you bring the guy in? Because you have all these videos and everything. I mean, I don't get it. It's like if you're looking for what's the word I'm looking for? Some credibility. You don't bring him in. There's nothing valuable.
Well, and I think it's obvious now because this is
it's smart, man. That's what I'm getting. That's the conclusion I keep coming to, is they just keep doing such dumb shit, man, and telling you how they're playing 3D chess. You know, it's just, you know, give me a break, man. I'm not that dumb, you know.
Oh, John,
nobody believes it.
John, I'm hearing an echo.
Yeah, me too.
You there? John? Oh, yeah, I'm hearing like a little echo.
Okay, I'm muting myself.
Okay. There you go.
I switched over. No, and I think part of the problem, I mean, with this specifically, is that there may not be another lawyer that is willing to represent him. All of them seem to come in, right? He's been through like 6-7 lawyers with just these couple of cases here. And all of them seem to come in gung-ho, like, I'm going to, you know, fix this, right? Fake news, blah, 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 blah. And then when it gets to the lawyer part and you sit down and have to look at the evidence, they're immediately like, oh, fuck no, I am not getting caught up in this. And they take off. He may be down to just Rudy Giuliani.
Well, look at around him, man. It's like all his friends are getting thrown under the bus. Would you even want to be around him right now? He doesn't stand for anybody. Sessions ain't going to back you up. He's not going to back you up. You know, under the bus. Oh well, yeah. You know, it's like I've never seen anything like it, man. Like these guys won't turn on you, and you know, come on.
And sometimes in the same tweet, right? So he'll tweet like in the beginning, you know, the guy's leaving on his own accord, you know, blah blah blah, has nothing to do with the investigation. And then, you know, the next statement is that he'll be working with police to keep from going to federal prison for the rest of his life. And then Trump's next tweet is, oh, he's a bitch bastard, blah 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 blah. Right? They're all traitors. Fake news, fake news, fake news. Right? And it's in like the same tweets. It has to be done on, I don't know, it has to be on purpose at some point. Like maybe that is true, that he really is like just trying to fuck the entire system. Because at first you were all like, oh, you know, he's with the racists and all of that, but he ain't helping them out either. Right? He did give everyone like this huge tax break, but then has like sanked our trade deals with the rest of the world, which is where like all of our money's made.
Well,
like,
and now
he is just wrecking the whole thing.
Well, yeah, he was going to do something there against ZTE in China, and then I guess it lasted about a month, and then you know now it's like, oh wait a minute, that cost the Chinese too many jobs. You know, we need to get, you know, all this money over to them to help them, you know, get back up and running. It's just like, you know, what kind of shit show is this? You got to make up your mind, man.
I'm telling you, every time they come in, they need to play clown music.
Bring in the clowns. You ever heard that song?
Bring in the clowns. Yeah, because that's what it is. That's what I'm seeing. And hey, and I'm a Republican saying that, man. I'm trying to support these bastards, and I can't do it anymore. I can't do it.
Man. I was gonna say, you know, like I was telling my coworker, you know, that like, you know, because like the issue of like Donald Trump came up, and I just didn't want to say like I don't trust any politician, like because they're all the same, and I just said, well, we kind of put a Homer Simpson in the, you know, in the Oval Office. That's kind of why everything's going the way it's going, you know.
Well, to be honest, guys, now Homer Simpson has ran a nuclear facility for like 30 years. Without it melting down. Can I switch Trump out for Homer? Like I know he's not, like we're running our campaigns now are the better of two evils. Like, I mean, in this point, can I run the better of two stupids?
I don't know, man. Like I told you about my dream, man, that I had a dream Donald Trump resigned, man. Maybe it's a precursor to shit that'll happen.
Well, I don't want to get. We just need to clip his nails for right now, right? So he can't fuck anything up any more than it already has been, and you know, just in the court dates, and I mean, just completely tie him up so he can't do nothing. But we don't want to put Pence in power either. Even though at this point, Pence probably will do a better job. Anybody.
His one thing. His views on shit scares the fuck out of me, though. He's like totally like anti-gay, anti-biz. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but so's Trump.
Well, yeah, you got what do you want, a Zionist or a neocon? It's your choice.
Oh my God, it's like a choice between shit and shit here.
Cat shit or dog shit, your choice. Yeah, but I still see the Well, we've only got a
Hive is coming in, guys, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, he is?
We've only got
a he's on the way now.
System. Okay, good.
There was something I wanted to bring up that's kind of going on right now. Yes, we're losing viewers. I don't know why we're losing viewers. Maybe I was talking. Remember how it was to remind our viewers, you know, who aren't regular viewers, we did talk about what was going on in Russia, along the lines of them banning Telegram and asking the developer of Telegram, I forget his fucking name. It's not. It's a kind of a weird name. They asked him for the encryption keys to Telegram, and Russia straight up like blocked Telegram and any VPN. They blocked VPNs that would allow them access to Telegram, and now Op Russia is going on. There's been some defacements of some core websites that are affiliated with the censorship that's going on there in Russia. I know we have some viewers on VK, and maybe they can inform me if they can type it in the stream comment. I was under the impression in Russia that VPNs were going to be outlawed last year in November, and they were going to get rid of all Tor nodes in Russia. But maybe I was misinformed on the information.
Well, I mean, I know that both China and, when I was in Vietnam, were really unsuccessful at blocking VPNs, at blocking social media. It's outlawed. You can't use Facebook there, and pretty much everybody uses Facebook there. So I don't know how successful in the end it will be.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what?
Even anybody who's got some knowledge, of even some advanced knowledge can get around these issues, but.
Well, I mean, it was pretty advanced, but then pretty much everywhere that you stopped would show you how to set up, an easy VPN. I'd say it's been so unsuccessful, right? Like they were going to block file sharing by all these crazy memes. That didn't work. File sharing is more popular now than it's ever been. Every 12-year-old on the planet knows where to get free music, movies. It hasn't worked. The censorship that we've been getting is really annoying, right? I think I got 5 shares out of this before they blocked my account, but extremely ineffective. If anything, it makes the people that they're trying to censor more popular, because you're trying to hide what they're saying, and people want to know the truth. And if the reason you're blocking them is because they're speaking truth, people want to see that. So it has like the opposite effect. Eventually, a social network, eventually a network that refuses to be monitored, refuses to give up their encryption keys, refuses to do any of that, it's going to come along.
Yeah.
This is also how Russia fucked themselves over, because they started blocking Telegram, and Telegram started to use Amazon servers to circumvent this blockade. Then Russia started to block Amazon servers, and it caused all these big websites to be blocked in Russia. So everyone is raging out because they can't visit all these websites they always visit, like random big websites. They all use Amazon network. So
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, so
all I can say is that there's going to be more defacements. This is not like a one-time deal.
Just search for Op Russia, guys. OP Russia on social networks and the internet.
The interwebs.
Yeah.
What do we have next on the list?
Net neutrality. We have some good news, and we got some not so good news. So, my retarded ass thought that when the Congressional Review Act was going to bring back the repealing of what Ajit Pai and all the motherfuckers at the FCC had done to get rid of the Title II of the net neutrality laws, I was under the impression when the Congressional Review Act, or when they were going to bring it to the Senate, that was all fun, that's all done, standee, they repealed it, we got it back. No. I thought that was it, and then I read more, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. So now we have to have a majority of like Congress, they need to vote on it, and then it can be vetoed. And I was like, motherfucker, really?
Yeah, so it's going to be vetoed anyway. I mean, he's going to veto it in the end. The only thing that I can say is there is so much like bipartisan support on our side for this issue. And with the elections coming up here, so we've got, Senate, congressional elections, we've got local elections coming by. With all of these elections, they may side with us on the end. They may vote with us on the end, knowing that he's going to veto it, because people aren't going to elect you if you're supporting the repeal of Net Neutrality Act. And it's like that has to do with the Republican side and the Democratic side. Both camps have a lot to lose in this one issue.
Yeah, I mean, like 80% of Americans didn't agree. Was like more like 85% of Americans didn't agree with what happened when Ajit Pai and the other board members. It was like what, two of them didn't agree with what Ajit Pai and the other ones were doing. But I'm just saying that a majority of Americans like net neutrality laws. It kind of protects the big ISPs from fucking us over and having fast and slow lanes and telecom media giants kind of dictating to us how we're connected to the internet, and might even be pay as you go, website to website or service to service.
Yeah, like this is such a like it's a uniting issue, to be honest with you. But you saw immediately the names of all the people that voted against it, and they just immediately became really unpopular, even with their own constituents, which they will do anything to keep elected, knowing that Trump is probably going to veto it anyway. They can vote for it and get the good publicity for voting for it, for voting to keep the net neutrality laws and still get their way. It's the same with the tax stuff that it went through. So the tax scam that the U.S. put through, there was a lot of people that came out and spoke against it, but then took full advantage of it, knowing that it was going to pass. So you have these guys in Congress that are multi-millionaires. They take full advantage of it. You don't see them coming out and saying, okay, I took this tax break, I'm donating that money to get, houses for homeless vets. Right? They take, they'll buy another yacht with it. They'll buy another house with it. They took full advantage of it, knowing that it was going to pass anyway.
And so while you guys wait for the result of these votings, are they going to continue tearing down net neutrality?
Or is it, for sure.
Only going to happen after?
No, and they're slowly doing it now. Like they are implementing the control over people's speeds and all of that. They're moving forward anyway. But when it comes to these kind of corporations, they always do that, right? They'll put through an illegal pipeline, right, and just pay the fine for it. If it doesn't work out for them in the end, they don't make their decisions like that. So when it comes to these big corporations, they start moving forward, and then illegal, not illegal, they own our government, so they're not required. When you're fined, let's say that you do something like that would be illegal, right? You're changing the speed of people's internet. You pay $1,000 fine for that, a $2,000 fine. Man, I make $1 trillion a year. What do I care about a $2,000 fine? Yeah. I get that back in taxes anyway. So they'll do that same thing.
There's two different systems going on. There's one system that allows them to do what they do at practically no cost. And then there's the other system that you get to participate in that no matter what you do, you don't get to have a voice. Those are the two systems.
Yeah, so like if you're Nestle, you can drain an aquifer, right, completely dry for pennies. Almost nothing. Shit, they'll give you the water. It's a natural resource for everybody to take. But then if you live in that area, you have to pay for your water.
Yeah. They're equal under the law. You're either equal or you're not. It's that.
Oh yeah.
You're not.
I think it's Yeah, in
Well,
our system, you are definitely not equal.
so we can just throw that out. Quit saying that shit. And quit acting like you're free and the brave and all that, because it's not true. There's at least two different systems going on. It's more like because you have people that if you get into the lower class, you're pretty much not going to get out. You don't have any rights, and then if you're upper crust, well, you're the then you have all the benefits.
Yep.
Yeah, you're pretty much you're untouchable. You
Yeah,
could do
I mean,
something like you could do something like poison Flint's entire water supply for a little bit of profit and completely get away with it.
Yeah, you got some kind of immunity. Immunity is something you can take away at any point. I don't know what to say. Well, I got immunity. Well, yeah, until you commit felonies, and then it doesn't apply anymore. I mean, that's how it's supposed to work.
Well, and they're in the position to make the laws to match it. If I come in and give a congressman $1,000 to do something that I want, that's bribery. But if I make a super PAC and give them $1 million, it's all good.
Yeah, I just and even the lobbying, I see where it's it's a defined, there's a defined purpose there. You want to be able to lobby and get access to your reps and all that. But why do the candidates and these politicians feel like they have to sell out the country for $100,000? Where does that come from? That's the big leap that I'm missing.
That's where it becomes bribery. Look, if you support what I'm doing and you would like me to run for Congress or whatever, then you can feel free to donate to my campaign. Now, that doesn't mean that with that donation you send me a law that you would like to put through that's got no other benefit but to make you and your friends money. Like, that's where it becomes the evil that it really is, having the money in politics system that we have now. Like, these are blatantly buying our politicians to push these things through. And there's no, it's not seen as wrong for any reason. Sure, donate it to it. Fuck no, I'm not gonna. What do you mean I'm gonna invade indigenous people's lands and call in mercenaries for your oil company? No fucking way. But that's not their response.
No, they feel. I mean, they feel more obliged to that money and that person and doing something illegal than saying, "Hey, look, I can't. I could try to help you, but it has to work within the framework of the law, and I just can't do that." But they don't do that. They never do the right thing at the right moment. They go, "Oh, $100,000. Oh, fuck. Well, what do you need?" That's the extent of their the thought process there for these politicians. I mean, that's the problem. The money's one thing. But these guys, they don't stand for anything. That's the problem.
Well, and the only thing that they're supposed to stand for is the people, right? Corporate interests are supposed to stand for corporate interests. Right? The government is supposed to stand for the people. And that's not what's going on, right? At some point it became that it was your job, and we're supposed to be in a capitalist system. At some point it was your job to blow these corporations every time they ask you to. And that's not why you're there at all, right? Our government's there to serve the people. It never says it never says to serve the corporate elite. If you've got a good business plan, then you can make all the money that you can. That doesn't mean you can buy our government, and that doesn't mean that our government's job is somehow to serve you.
Yeah, it's totally scrambled up. Well, it's crony capitalism and fascism gets you. It's what you're seeing right now. That's it. No hiding it.
America. I mean, it's not even like, I take offense to it because I'm American, but this is a global issue.
Oh, yeah. It's the same in Europe, for example. It's no different.
Yeah, so I mean, it's something that there's woke and woke as fuck. Like, these politicians are corrupt as being woke. All politicians are corrupt as being woke as fuck. I can't trust any of you assholes.
Yeah.
Well, they've learned how to get the the weenies in there, no backbone, so they can be pushed around anyway. They're totally corruptible with small amounts of money. I mean, if you're gonna sell out your country, don't you think you'd need more than 100,000 or even 1,000,000? I mean, that's not enough. But to these people, it is. That's what kills
and especially when it's like the people that you're working for are already making, in some cases, trillions of dollars. Be like, look, man, I want fucking half.
Yeah, if you're gonna play that bargain right and be this master negotiator and all, yeah, you know, hey, do the same thing they would, right? I mean, you want something, we'll pay up.
No, but that's the lack of backbone. Like they're not, like I said, like they're not even good at being evil. You know, but they really are that kind of just like you said, just no backbone.
Yeah.
Like
because
having no heart, but not.
Yeah. I mean, anybody with any dignity or self-respect, you wouldn't do that. You just wouldn't.
I go back to Flint. You know, like how much money was it worth poisoning the children of Flint? And I mean, they didn't. You know, they weren't making trillions of dollars. It doesn't make it in any way right. But that's what you sold out your people for. You poison children of Flint and continue to poison them. Right.
Yeah, and then divert the money for your campaign and all the rest of it. It's like, and then that even goes on. Nobody gets, you know, it's like, okay, you got caught, but you didn't get in trouble. You know, you just got caught. Well what's that?
They're always talking about re-implementing the. They're really always talking about re-implementing the death penalty. They want to give you the death penalty for drugs and for this and for that and the other. We need to start giving these guys the fucking death penalty. And see how long some of that. You poison the water of 100,000 people. Like, I'm sorry, man. You want the chair or you want to be hung? Those are really your two choices.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. And the same is with all these wars. I mean, how many people are getting killed by these politicians? Like, they're responsible for this. So yeah, why not give it to them then?
Let's
see how long.
Yeah, and it's things that.
There is, you know, in the Constitution there is a remedy for that, for high crimes, misdemeanor, you know, treason. We walk you to the nearest street corner and we hang you in the middle of that street corner. That's the remedy in the Constitution for that. But we don't do it.
No, we completely ignore things that are so insane. Look, there is no doubt, like from you know, arguably recently from Bush, you know, from Bush to Obama to Trump, you guys are fucking war criminals, right? There was no weapons of mass destruction, right? We killed millions of innocent people. You are a war criminal, right? That is exactly what, you know what I mean? The definition of that is. You invaded a country illegally and killed millions of people, and then continue to do that. You know, everybody goes nuts about Trump saying that he should get the Nobel Peace Prize, right? Obama still holds the record for killing children with drone strikes. You knew there were children there, right? You couldn't make the decision whether a terrorist life or a child's life was worth more. You're a war criminal. That's fucked up.
Well, he even said it. I mean, he even said, you know, he was good at killing people, and everybody started clapping. You know, it's just like, who are you people, man?
Yeah, you don't get the Nobel Peace Prize for that. Like, out of everything that he done, man, if you've got one child's life that you pushed the button, you gave, like, it doesn't have to go through Congress, right? That went directly from you. You knew who was in the building. You know what I mean? It's not like we bomb these places and don't have plenty of fucking information, right? And you did it anyway. Like, I can give you no support like that.
Yeah, they're craven. That's all you can. You know, I mean, you're just so detached and you're so craven that doesn't even bother you anymore. You're just going to smile and go about your business, deflect a little bit, make no big deal. But more, you know, and then on top of that is they don't mind a 50-to-1 kill ratio. We had to kill 50 people in this wedding party to get the one bad guy, and then they say, well, hey, that's okay. You know, that's reasonable. To who?
Yeah, to who? Like, you just made you. But there's plenty of, I forget the general that got, I mean, he got kicked out of the military for saying it. They pretty much like figured it out. Hey, every time we kill one innocent person, we make like 5 terrorists. It only takes you killing one person's child before he's going to do everything humanly possible to fuck you over. You carpet bombed, you know what I mean? You drone striked a wedding party, and that seemed logical. That seemed okay. That was going to work out.
Yeah, and then now it's like you hit them twice. You know, then you wait for all the first responders and people that come in to help, and then you hit them again. You know, like, well, hey, you know, it's like we double tapped them. Oh, okay. Oh, you double tapped them. Well, that's okay then. You know, you double tapped them. Fuck yeah.
No, you sounded like a hard ass when you say it. That sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean that's your great legacy. You're a hard ass because you can think like that. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
there's a huge gap there.
They always put it as the hard decision. You had to make the hard decision. No, you made the wrong decision. You decided that it was advantageous to kill an entire wedding party of people that had nothing to do with it, innocent civilians, to get one person that you hope would turn into a terrorist.
Yeah, and he was the Muslim too. I mean, he was the great Muslim. What, is that okay in Muslim land to do that to other Muslims?
They use the same excuse that the Christians do. Like, we can murder each other because they're a different kind of Christianity than we are.
Different.
Like with all of the religions, they always have a good reason why you need to go out and murder people. But no, you're not supposed to. The same way in Christianity. You're not supposed to murder another Muslim. It's thou shalt not, create. Thou shalt not commit murder is still one of the 10 commandments. But okay, God gave you a little bit of headroom, right? Looking for that loophole. So anybody that doesn't fit with what you're saying ideologically is not a true Christian or a true Muslim, and you're allowed to kill them.
Yeah.
Where you know how it would seem that God seemed to be like extremely fucking direct with that one, right? Thou shalt not kill. There's a lot of wiggle room to that. But sure as shit, they found like ways again. I think like the other translations, thou shalt not commit murder, and murder is an actual thing through law and things that aren't murder, like war and whatever, that aren't a specific like man-made law of murder, don't particularly count. They're twisted people. I've always been under the impression if God wants somebody dead, he doesn't need your help. Right? If God wants you dead, your ass turns to salt, right? He doesn't need man to do his fucking dirty work for him. Like, the killings that go on, those are 100% on man. God doesn't need your help. He can destroy the world at a snap of the fingers. And if you truly believe that, right, then you can't like put a religious aspect in the murder that you're doing. It's not God's will, it's your will. God's will doesn't change. Right? If you really were supposed to have all of that land in Israel, right, all of the people that were there would have just turned to salt and blown away in the wind. Right? The Holy Ghost, the ghost didn't go, right, in Egypt, didn't need you to go from house to house and murder all of the Egyptian children, right? It just died, right? The whole thing of Passover. He doesn't need your help. The absolute creator of the the absolute creator of the universe and possibly multiverse doesn't need your help with shit.
They just like killing people. That's really what it is. I mean, they enjoy killing people and treating them badly, and then smiling and making up a little excuse, and then just watching.
Well, and like always, to make the cash off of it, like that's not hidden anymore. War is done for profit. Right? We're not at war with North Korea for any other reason, and we don't want to go to nuclear war. We really don't want to nuke each other, right? But we would like to spend as much money as humanly possible to build up that border forever, for as many years as we can. And every year we need a new billion-dollar technology that we have to go in so that the scary North Koreans don't do anything. But it's not that we have any, it's not the nuclear weapons, it's not any of that. We're running out of places where we can build up these insane bases and spend this kind of money.
And resources, of course. Yeah, collect the resources
Uh,
and the big weapon suppliers. Yeah, Lockheed. And, yeah.
Do we lose somebody?
Still here.
Terrence, you still there?
We're still here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to change it up for a few minutes. So Julian Assange, I bring this up every episode, mainly due to for a few reasons. I do see him gradually fading out of the news media outlets. In fact, when I talk to people on the street about Julian Assange, half of them don't even know who he is. And
yeah, I talk because we had a little bit of excitement about some things that might be happening in the future on the show, and I had mentioned Assange to one of my neighbors, and yeah, he didn't know either, and that kind of was heartbreaking.
How can you not know that after 8-10 years, man? That's amazing.
Well, I think some of it's the like sensationalism of social media and the control they have over the real media. A person that has done literally nothing but expose some real corruption in our world, right, is being pretty much held against his will, with the threat of arrest at any moment, for doing nothing but spreading the truth. And they've done a really good job at burying that. It's not on corporate news, and it should be. Nothing that he said, nothing that WikiLeaks has ever put out has had to be retracted. The only thing he's in trouble for, right, is spreading the truth.
Yeah, and to make things worse, when I'm reading, I don't know, somebody correct me if you're out there in the comments on whatever platform we're streaming on, like, Julian Assange's account is no longer in possession of Julian Assange. I'm under the impression that it's under his legal team, but now they're saying on his Twitter feed that it's at the Free Julian Assange org, or whatever they're calling themselves at this point. But I don't know, man. This is like what I've been reading is that the Ecuadorian government is trying to wants this to be handled in the UK courts. And this is not a good position for Julian. And in fact, he has.
No, they even threatened to from what we were talking about earlier. They threatened to nix some of the trade deals between England and Ecuador because of it. And that really starts throwing up some red flags, guys. I mean, can you imagine the money that's involved with that they're willing to say, look, give us this guy, whatever he knows, whatever he's doing is so dangerous that we're willing to stop trade with an entire country.
I mean, he's on a gag order, man. This is not good. He can't talk to his legal team. He can't make a phone call. He can't accept letters. He can't walk out of the fucking embassy. He can't represent himself. He can't represent himself in the courts or relay anything to anybody. He has no access. He has no means of communications to the outside world whatsoever. He's sitting there in a fucking room 24 hours a day. I'm not even sure if he has TV access or access to a TV. He should. This is a bad move in a sense that they're almost taking away any tool that he could use in the legal realm to get himself out of there, and they despite what the UK courts were saying a month ago, it was still progress in a sense that there still is some fight in the courts,
Well, I mean, what is he actually being charged with now at this point? Because the whole sex thing that they tried to push in the beginning has kind of faded away. That all turned out to be just not true. What is their, what are they trying to still charge him with?
I mean, they don't. The reason for their warrant has gone away. But that didn't, of course, being governments being what they are, they don't drop the charges because they want them. But that's the behind the scenes. There is your reason for your initial warrant doesn't exist, so you. He needs to make a run for it because otherwise he's going to starve there. And I mean, the game's up. He may as well try
they're
something.
Just going to hand him. They're just going to hand him over.
Yeah, he's done for, man. They've gotten to Ecuador, and it's up to him.
And the lengths, like I said, that they're willing to go to pressure the Ecuadorian government. And I mean, he's not a murderer. He's not, you know what I mean? Like, it's none of those things. The only thing that that they hate him for is telling the truth. Like I said, nothing that he's ever posted has been false. You might not like it, you know what I mean? But it's not false.
Well, he got into that realm.
100% confirmed.
What?
Go ahead, Preston. Sorry, this is the delay thing.
Yeah. God, what was I gonna? Where was I going there? Shit.
You said he's going to enter.
Terrence said everything has been true that has been released. So, yeah.
Oh, he's getting into that realm of being on the same caliber as an intelligence agency. See, they tried to call him. The clue was when they started calling him a rogue intelligence agency, and in their world, you just don't do that. You don't threaten them and become an intelligence agency. They're the intelligence agency / propagandist. You don't get to have that job. So if you ever get to that level where he was at, it's just like they're gonna come after you. They don't give a shit.
It undermines the misinformation game. So, I mean, our intelligence agencies work on misinformation, work on propaganda. And anytime that you start seeing behind the scenes, you're like, oh, none of that was true. In fact, here's the email of you setting up an obvious propaganda campaign. And the people that are working together, I think, have been more damning in the information that he has released recently than anything else. When you see behind the scenes, like they're saying one thing to us, and I'm working behind the scenes all on the same page. And I think like exposing that's real dangerous to them. But no, I agree, because when it comes to our intelligence agencies, that's exactly where he's at. That they're working really hard to put out a narrative and to control you, to move to pretty much like war, right? And he's able to say, no, that's not really what's going on. I mean, you should know that that's not what's going on, but seeing it in black and white, seeing the messages between people, right, to see what dirty tricks they're actually playing, it really hurts their cause.
Yep, it does. That's.
But like I feel for the guy, and
that's really the only reason. You don't ever threaten government. That's what governments do. You don't threaten them. That's their mindset.
Well, yeah, but the fact is that you're threatened by the truth, and that in itself is wrong. If you're an agency that number one, threat in the world is the truth, then you got to go, or you got to change what your alphabet soup agency does, because it's obvious that you're no longer doing what I assume that most of the like low-level agents. So I mean, even the guys that are listening to our conversations and all of that. Right. I assume that most of them are doing it they believe that they're trying to help the country. They're not privy to that information either. And I think a lot of them get upset when, they do feel like they're monitoring a terrorist, that they're doing what's right for the country. And then it turns out, no, it's a political game for you at the top to make a little bit of cash. And I think that undermines them as well, because, all of the leaks that we get are from low-level analysts, or from people that, look, they joined it to help protect their country, right? They joined it to do the right thing, and then I find out that, no, I'm being used as a puppet like everybody else. And that undermines them from the inside. Because I'll say from personal, like when I joined the military, and I assume that everybody that joins the FBI and NSA joins for those same reasons. You're patriotic. You want to defend your country. You want to serve, something that's greater than yourself. There's reasons why you join that. Most people don't join the FBI because, they want to support the military industrial complex, or support like assassinations of innocent people. That's not why they join those organizations. But the guys at the top, right, they're using them as puppets. And anytime someone like Assange exposes that, it undermines them from the inside. They quit getting recruits.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Assange is of course used to dealing with all these people, but what I think is very alarming is the fact that now his own friends are starting to turn on him, like The Guardian. I saw
Yep.
like a very devastating article about him, like from The Guardian, and these people were always on the side of WikiLeaks in the past, and that is shocking to me. There is
I have
something going on
seen,
now.
well, and I think, to be honest with you, okay, like you guys, a lot of what I do is on social media. So, I mean, I'm on a lot of pages and groups. And I have seen ones that seemed within the last 3-4 years that seemed like they were on our side have slowly been infiltrated or controlled by other entities. And I can't always point to one group like they're all doing it. Occupy Democrats is a really good example of that, where they're 99% of their posts are with us, or things that we want to know about, or news that we want to know about. But then behind the scenes, right? You get those. Well, then we'll put in these, undying support for Hillary Clinton. Wait a minute, Occupy? You know what I mean? That's just not. But it's there. Right, and they have infiltrated a lot of the groups and news sources that seemed like they were on our side, that exposed themselves as being on our side within the last 3-4 years. So I don't know if The Guardian fits into one of those categories, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, what I notice is that these groups are mentioning like the same problems we mentioned too, but they offer these strange solutions to them, and that's like.
Yeah,
They
they go through and they look at what. Well, they'll go and they'll see things that are trending, an idea that's trending, and that's what they post about. But they do put like weird spins on it, or it leads people in a direction. They're hungry for information. So you look at your average person that's trying to that's on the internet, that's on social media, that's trying to get away from people that they know are lying to them, right? To the corporate media. CNN and Fox News, and they're lying to you, and your average person knows that they're lying to you. So they are looking for information and where to go, and these groups are giving the illusion of that path. And it leads people, well, I read this or I heard this, and you did, right? But it's totally not true, and it's got this weird spin on it. Like, at the end of the day, you can't be against the oligarchy and against the 1% and support Hillary Clinton at the same time, right? You can't be for, open news and media, right? And then support the people that manipulated our entire election through the new corporate news media, which never apologized, by the way. Right, Fox News. CNN did come out and say, "Hey, yeah, we did take money and advice from the Clinton campaign to undermine Bernie Sanders' chance for president," and didn't tell our viewers that at all. Right, we did that on purpose. They did not come out and apologize for that. So people do see that the corporate media is lying to you, and a lot of these news sources are giving, like I said, the illusion of of real information, but they're still playing the same old games. They'll post a video about police brutality, right, and then support candidates that support the prison industrial complex, that aren't supporting changes in marijuana legislation, that aren't supporting, right, charging police that are murderers, that have murdered innocent people in the street. There's a whole game going on, guys. Like, social media strategy is an entire game. I do it for our side, right? But it's when you see it and you know how it's used, you can see how these people are using it, and using it to try to control what the future of our government is going to be. This next election, right? The next presidency will be chosen by social media.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah. And that is like based on these trending topics, and they're going to zoom in on these and use these to get us to elect the person they want to have elected. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they were bragging
like I
about
said,
it.
they'll use.
when it was when they were for Obama. I mean, Facebook and Obama were bragging about how they did it back in 08 and 12. And now it's bad because it might have turned the other way. This time it's bad, and somehow illegal on top of that. But you guys have been bragging about it for 8+ years, so it's just the duplicity of it all. It's just give me a break.
No, the same tactics, the same things that they used for the Obama campaign, right? I mean, social media is a part of it. If you want to run for president, if you want to run for whatever, you're going to have a social media presence. On the same note, you can't use social media the way that you use the propaganda machine to arbitrarily, point us between the two shit candidates. Obama did use all of those things. There's nothing that's illegal about it. Now, when you walk into Facebook and just give them $100,000, I mean that probably was pushing on illegal. But corporations, like all of them, the reason that you have ads pop up on your sites is because companies have paid Facebook to do that. You can be a political person and do the exact same thing. We just need to be extremely wise where we're getting our information from. Just because it pops up on your news feed, right, doesn't mean that it's real.
We got all these news sites now. They just pop up. You really got to look at the links, and because they're spoofing off of ABC or hell, any of them, which is slight twist.
You'll have it'll be ABC Global. You know what I mean? Something that doesn't exist, but then when you go to the page, it seems like it's legit.
Yeah.
Or they'll push news stories that aren't real. I don't want to go back to Occupy Democrats, but that's one of the ones that uses like all of these tactics. So I mean, every post is this statement broke the internet. Man, you got 10,000 shares of it. That didn't break the fucking internet. What are you talking about? No. Right? Viral video shows, Democrats standing up against, and it's like that is not a viral video just because you put it. But every one of them, right, is those tools, the words that they know or that they've been told will work to sway people. You know what I mean? You'll get clicks off of it because it says that.
Yeah, clickbait hype.
Yeah, but what is so damaging to the real democracy is there are only like 2 political parties in the US who can pay for all of that, right? Who can be on all social media, on all television networks at once. And like if you have like a small political party that's like unknown, you can never get that reach. So this is like so damaging to anything that is democracy.
Before that was true, but we are coming to that change. Look, for everything that we do in comparison, right? So let's say, in a week, and I'm talking about all, our group here, Anonymous Fights Back, we've got an extremely low budget, but, right, we couldn't compete with a real, with a big news source like that can spend billions of dollars in advertising, but we get more shares and views and all of that cost us nothing. Eventually, our politicians won't be controlled by that two-party system. It's that your social media presence is so big, you don't have to campaign like that at all. I can just straight up live stream it to you.
Yeah, no, that is
right.
true.
If you want to know what
that's really
and that's coming very soon. It's this where it has taken a huge amount of power, and this has nothing to do with people's support or not support of the Bernie Sanders campaign. But compared to what our opponents spent, compared to what we spent to keep him in the news, wasn't even close. At the end of the day, they couldn't spend enough money, right, to make him disappear. Right? They controlled everything. They controlled the media. They controlled the narrative. They had, they had posts with millions of viewers on it. They had complete meme teams, botnets, right? And they still could not shut that Bernie Sanders movement down. Now, it wasn't used how he should use it. Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe he doesn't understand it. Maybe it's just not the world that he's used to. But he could have stepped away and said, look, I'm just running a social media campaign. Donate to my PayPal. Right, and eventually we'll come to that point. And once it gets to a certain size, once it gets to it, once it gets to your, you've got 60, 70 million followers, I don't have to ask the Democrats or Republicans for shit.
Well, the other problem is, you got one thing that tells you need another party is most identify as independent. They're not going to put their name next to Democrat or Republican. The other side.
No, go ahead.
Well, on the other, let's see, what was the other side of that? Damn, I'll come back with that. But you need a third party. Oh, the two parties come up with the rules that the third party has to meet, as far as debates and all this. They themselves don't have to meet any of these standards, but they yet get to come up with the standards, for the third party. So anytime they do get a little bit of a grab, well, they just say, oh, well, you needed 8% to get in a debate. Oh, well, now it's 15. Not,
Well, yeah, what was it? Nader had got those goals, and they arrested him. They still wouldn't let him in.
They just changed the rules. Yeah, I mean, it's totally fake, man. They changed the rules at the last minute. I mean, there really aren't any rules. I've seen
they even showed with the super delegates, right? We even saw with the super delegates, that was just the fact that you had to actually, you know what I mean, vote for the people that your constituents want became completely untrue.
Yeah, because Hillary's buying them off on the backside. It's like, so what kind of system is this? You got super delegates, who can be bought. It's like, well, what kind of system is that? That doesn't sound like democracy to me. It sounds like some more crony shit.
If you're gonna buy people, right? Why does it always have to be at the fucking top end? You know what I mean? Give us a little sugar down here at the bottom. You know what I mean? You know how much you look at the votes. We went back to Obama and some of the games that politicians play. You remember everybody gets a free cell phone, right? If you were, if you were under a certain, if you were under a certain, economic level, right? You applied, they sent you a free cell phone. You got 100 minutes, blah 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 blah, all this stuff from you. I think that program's still in, but now it's insanely hard to get. And that was done nothing but to push the election, right? To give some sugar to the bottom. You know what I mean? To the bottom. Same with the the tax rebate, right? The economic stimulus, right? Everybody gets $2,000. Saying that it was done.
Allegedly, yeah. It's just, hey, at least a phone. I mean, and that program really didn't cost that much. Was it a couple billion? And you gave a shitload of phones out. I mean, if you're going to do something, it shows you if you take a little bit of that money from the military-industrial complex and all this corporate welfare, you literally could give people phones and free internet and free healthcare too, for that matter, and still not really even touch them. There's that much money there.
Look, if you that's the deal. If you came out and you said, and this is crazy talk, out of our budget that's 30 times the rest of the world combined. If you said, fine, y'all can keep spending on that, we only need 5%, right? You can keep 95% of the money you're doing. That's enough to give the entire country healthcare, right? That's enough to give the entire country healthcare and do something real about our homeless problem. And I'm talking about real, you've got 3,000 homeless beds. Here's 3,000 homes. Let's move on to the next fucking problem, right? It's so much money spent on absolutely nothing. I know I've said this before. We spent $1 trillion to develop. This is one of my reasons for getting out of the military, right? We spent $1 trillion to develop the Predator drone. $1 trillion. You spent $1 trillion to connect a high-resolution camera to a remote control plane. It cost you $1 trillion fucking to figure that out. Putting rockets on it, you can put rockets on fucking anything, right? But the best you could come up with $1 trillion was a remote control plane with a camera on it. That's fucking insane. Last time we spent $1 trillion, we broke the fucking atom, and that is the best that you could come up with. That is a huge waste of money. 5% is nothing.
Yeah, no. Oh, man, it's outrageous. And then they'll bitch you and say, oh, well, these phones are costing, all these phones are given to these poor people are costing us all this money. It's like, well, yeah, it is, but it's like pennies compared to the shit you're blowing over here with the F-22s or any of the rest of your bloated programs. Yeah.
Did we finish that? Did we ever finish it? Is the F-22, is that a thing yet? I thought we just spent $2 trillion on it and then walked away, made like the one squadron of them, and then that it doesn't work. Who wants a subsonic jet, guys? What happened to like we should be traveling the fucking universe. You're going in reverse. Next time they're gonna say, "Oh, we got this new fucking prop plane, right? Bee's knees." I'm telling you. Like, you can't go slower. Number one thing our jets need to do, I'm just putting it out there for our like agents that are listening right now. Number one thing our jet need to do is go faster than any other jet on the planet. Don't give me a jet that goes fucking slower.
And then give you a bunch of drones now.
Well, that's the deal. Like, okay, the F-22, the reason, the underlying factor in that, the reason the F-22 was an extremely expensive dead project is because the F-22 was the last manned plane that we're going to produce, right? The thing that was holding back our jets was the human being on the inside. You can only go so fast. You can only stop so fast. You can only turn so fast. You can only do so much without turning the human body to jello, right? So you can't go from Mach 3 to 0 in a second without, completely killing the person on the inside. You just turn them to goo. Right? But if you take that person out, you can do amazing things with aircraft. Now, I know we don't talk about it a lot on here, but when it comes to UFOs, right? Unidentified flying objects. I'm not talking about alien ships, which may exist on our planet, but I'm talking about what most people see are military jets. If you went back to the 90s, to the 80s and 90s, people were seeing black flying triangles anywhere with 3 lights on them, right? Those were stealth bombers. They didn't come up on radar. They don't make any sounds. You called the radar thing. They said, no, there's nothing there. You said, man, I am looking at a flying black triangle, right, with 3 lights on it. That's what you were looking at. Now we see these little balls that do amazing things in the air. You'll say, oh, it went from, Mach 3 to 0 in 2 seconds. That's insane. It would kill a person, right? It's not an alien craft. It's because that plane, the thing that they're using, does not have a person in it, right? And because it's a drone, it can do all sorts of cool stuff. It can stop and go in the other direction. It can go straight up and down, accelerate at its same speeds. It can do all of that because there's not a person in it, right? And once you realize that, it's not quite as spectacular. It doesn't seem like alien technology. But that's 100% the truth. It is much cheaper to send, and we are extremely detached from drones, more than we.
Uh-oh.
I think he cut off. Yeah. Okay. Well, he's actually right about it, right? I mean, and why, if you would like spy on other countries, would you like mention that you got that kind of spy equipment? So, yeah. Probably you would have. You would say that, yeah, maybe these are UFOs. Yeah.
Hello. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was weird.
I got booted. Yeah, I got booted for that one. Okay, so we are extremely detached from drones. Right? When we're talking about the drone strike that killed a bunch of kids in a wedding party, if you would have to send soldiers to massacre those people, there would be outrage in the street. But because we use drones to do it, the loss to us is very minimal, and it doesn't get the same heart-wrenching effect as going in and slaughtering people like we did in Vietnam. Right? Well, we can't let that down. When we use drones, there's no chance of a U.S. soldier dying in it, so our detachment from it is extreme. People talk about it even when we talk about it. It's not a war crime. It's done just kind of on the cuff. You can sleep well.
Well, who is responsible? Who is responsible if someone gets killed by a drone? Is it like the squadron or something controlling it? Like,
well, I mean, ours are still controlled, or I guess it's being flown by the Air Force. But when it comes to, we're all getting booted off. Something's going on.
Well, the truth is, no. Look, if it's the U.S. military doing it, the U.S. military is responsible for that. They might try to act like, well, it's a drone and it was the AI. Well, it doesn't matter because you paid for all that. It's your piece of equipment. You're responsible for what it does, whether you want to admit to it or not. If you're such a cheese dick, you don't even want to admit to that anymore. Well, that's fine. That's your choice. But the truth is, you're responsible for that.
Yeah, I was thinking about like what Terrence said. Like, if you're like a U.S. soldier and you accidentally kill like a family or something, like in a car, then you could be like convicted, like to a war tribunal or something. And but if it's done by a drone, then who is responsible? There is no one to blame anymore. Yeah, just the
Well,
entire U.S. Army. Yeah, but
even then, you look like, okay, we invaded Iraq under false pretenses. Even the invasion of Iraq in itself, even if you take like the WMDs out of it, right? You can't you can't invade a country by UN laws, by all of that. You can't invade a country, right, unless you've been attacked, right? And like everything about that was illegal as far as the law is concerned. But it comes down to the fact, what the fuck are you going to do about it? You know, even now, we're what, 60% of the UN budget? I think the world eventually, like, we need to go and, you know, the 5 permanent seats that are up there, they need to just say, look, we're not doing that anymore. The entire world has agreed that America doesn't have a monopoly on peace, right? You don't have peace in mind. Israel, America, China, Russia, you guys just join the rest of the fucking group here. We're not doing the permanent seat and veto thing. Now we're going to have to split up the funds a little bit because obviously America's not going to foot the bill, right? But that's not working out to our best interest anymore. Why are we listening to these people? Like, that's something that really bothers me on the inside. Why are we listening? When you come up and you say, look, Israel, you have to stop beating up on Gaza and Palestine, like right now. Right? You can't execute people by sniper fire protesting. You have to find some other way to do it, right? And there's repercussions for that. The entire world can't vote yes, and America come in and vote no, and that's real. Okay, you got one vote, man. Sorry, the rest of the world saw this as the genocide that it is, and something has to be done about it. It's too bad.
Well, it's not a democratic system. You know, one vote isn't equal to another vote. It's a system designed for purpose, just like the parties and everything else, the government. You know, there's at least 2 different systems all the time. Certain groups of people get to do something, others don't. Just like at the UN, you know, if you're Uganda, well, your vote really isn't shit, you know, because you're not part of the Security Council. You don't get a super vote or a permanent place on the council or all this other bullshit they come up with. You know, it's a hoax, man. That's what it is. You're being told something, but it's just a false story, a false paradigm. It's just a hoax. That's really what it is.
Yeah, it blows my mind, right? Like, I just can't see, like, at what point do you not listen to the U.S.? Like, when did we become the say all, you know? And it's not like our ambitions are noble in any way, shape, or form. I don't understand it. At what point do we say we're just not gonna? I'm sorry that you voted against it. You only get one vote. It's genocide.
Yeah,
and there's genocides all over the world. Like, no, we're voting to talk to North Korea because we would like world peace. We don't really care what your ambitions are in the region. Your ambitions should stop at the end of America's borders. Like, that's where American interest should be. Like, I'm not, you guys know, I'm like, we don't always sit on the same sides of integration and all that, but I do think that our countries, in the same way that you want to keep people from influencing from the outside, our ambitions, our like need in our push in the world should end at U.S. borders. We shouldn't need to have like interest in regions that aren't in the U.S. I'm not saying you can't do business and all of that, but when it comes to invading another country for U.S. interests, no.
Yeah, where is the UN? I mean, that's allegedly what they were supposed to stop and be all about, and they don't lift a finger. They're like the congressmen, all the rest. None of these people lift a finger to do the right thing at the right time. They're incapable because they're so jaded. You've gotten used to a corrupt system that you think's legitimate. And you do these things, and you don't even, there's no credibility to it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, when you think of the atrocities that are going on worldwide, you ask yourself, where is the UN? Right? The UN's got peacekeepers, huge budgets, you know what I mean, all that. Where the fuck are you guys?
Yeah, I haven't seen them do a damn thing in 15, 20 years. And not but at least you see some troops out there. They were trying to do something. Now it's like, where the hell are they at?
Well, and it's like,
Accountability. You
yeah,
spend all this money, all these people, they just suck each other's ass, and they don't stand for anything, come up with anything. It's so
well,
pathetic.
yeah, they're just stuck. Like I think peace is completely possible, but you're gonna have to take everybody at the UN standing up and saying, hey, we're just not going to kill each other. Okay, everybody agreed on that, right? Vote all in favor of not continuing the pointless wars for profit. Raise your hand. Everybody against, go fuck yourself, right? And move the fuck on. But
When are
there's
the
nobody.
other? Yeah, there's. When are the other? When are the other 200 countries going to walk out when we make a speech, just to make the point? It's like, hey, we're tired of listening to you, man. It doesn't matter what you say anymore. We're not going to
Yeah,
participate in your system. But they just, most of them. I mean, I guess they're so bought off, so corrupted. I mean, their reps or whatever are probably, making good dough, just to show up there and fall asleep or at least pretend to be awake.
oh, and even then, like France immediately in our last strike in Syria, they have been chomping at the bit to fucking invade Syria for like no reason. And it's already like we've been beating the fuck out of that country for how many years now, and you guys want to come in and sucker punch them out of nowhere?
Yeah, because that's the good guys. Well, they're the good guys, and that's what good guys do. You show up at the Houdinis. They always show up at the last minute. The work's been done, but they're there to take plant the flag.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, it was just such a weird like event, French airstrikes on Syria, and you're like, guys, why? Come on. Look, if we let Syria loose on you, you're gonna give up anyway. So don't even act like you're in the fight.
Yeah, well, what France is an old colonial power, of course.
Yeah, that's not your thing. Come on, that's not your thing, right? Why pop in all of a sudden? But Marconi was chomping at the bit, right? Started invading the country before he even got like permission from Parliament.
Oh, Macron. Yeah. Well, he's a good Rothschild. He knows that whatever he does, he's got the true power behind him. So it doesn't really make a shit what the government wants.
I think that's with a lot of these people. It's why I really do see social media becoming so much of a powerful force in this. Because before, those were the only people that could afford to run. Those were the only people that could afford to get to those places. When, like I said, when your power is not in the money that you have, in the followers that you have, the support that you have from normal people, I think that'll change everything. Because we don't have $1 billion, but we can get you registered in every single state. Right? It costs us nothing. Right? And it's those things that they got us. It was before you couldn't reach out and touch somebody in California to make sure you were on the ballot. Now you can organize millions of people to do it across the country. And the more millions that do it, the more popular it becomes.
Yeah.
You don't have to cover it on CNN because your favorite live streamer is there right now with his phone up.
Well, they don't have any market. You look at the kind of viewership they got. In a country of 300 million, it's like you guys do 1 million a night, or if you're on Fox, you're like 3 million. That's like whoopee-doo. So you got 1% market penetration, and you guys are tons of the media that we're supposed to look up to. You don't even have a market really. You do, but it's fake. Yeah.
And so, I mean, a lot of those are just straight up, I think, across all of our networks, right? I think we've got 6 million people altogether, right? But we don't spend anything to get those people. I posted, if they don't like it, then you won't share it. If you do like it, you do share it, but you rather have 100%. If I had to go out and spend $6 million, right? If I had to trade 6 million viewers for $6 million, right? I could barely put a dent in the corporate media system. I could buy like a weekend's worth, a day's worth of a 5-minute, or 3-minute, ad, maybe, maybe for 6 million, right? But 6 million viewers, 6 million followers is worth way more than $6 million, than $6 million, right? Anybody that they share to, all of their friends see it, right? And that doesn't cost you anything. I think they'd like it to, right? But at the moment, it doesn't cost you anything. And that's like a real power that we're just now discovering.
Hey, but there is like your net neutrality fight again, right? Because the old media is dying and now they're trying to like remove this net neutrality thing, and then the new media they hope will be like Netflix and their other controlled things. So that's
Yeah,
like
but I
why this
don't.
fight for net neutrality matters again.
Yeah, for sure. And it's time, if they get things through, when somebody does become popular like that, look for them to slow down or do everything that they can. But that's like I said in the beginning, when it comes to the internet, that has never worked. They could have let Napster, right, do its own thing. You know, you maybe somebody would have a friend that was a little bit of a computer geek, right, that would be able to hook you up with some songs and stuff. But it wasn't a national, it wasn't an international. File sharing wasn't known to the general public. But by trying to smash it, right, they turned it into a whole industry, right? File sharing isn't going anywhere. In fact, it's more popular than it's ever been before, right? Every 12-year-old on the planet knows where to get free movies and free music. They made it worse. The censorship that they're doing on social media now has made people that may have traded out of the limelight, right, extremely popular because they're trying to censor them. Even on the right, Alex Jones was losing viewership. Since they've tried to censor him, right, his viewership has went way up.
That is true. As crazy as he is, that is true.
But
right?
you know who's
And
dropping?
look for it.
Is Trump. He on his Twitter traffic is half of what it was like a year ago. And that's what kills me. It's like these GOP people are, even the president, you're getting censored, and they, for some reason, that doesn't register in their mind. Well, because they're so craven and criminal in other ways, that doesn't seem to register. And that's your base, man. It's like, what the fuck?
I think there's a lot of people, just like a lot of people are disheartened with Bernie, a lot of people are disheartened with Obama, a lot of people are getting to that point with Trump. That look, they expected you to be having these nationwide raids on killers and drug dealers, and instead all we get is videos of you beating up on children and ladies, right? Like they were supposed to be this influx of bringing back all of this money and industrial power to the Midwest and farmers, and instead you fucked up their trade deal and they have to close all of their plants. Right? You were supposed to help the little guy and the blue-collar worker, and all you did was give a giant tax break to your friends. I think that the people that voted for him, and then the people that were voting for him for like a spiritual reason, he's managed to fuck that up with screwing porn stars. And then not coming out and just, look, all Trump had to do was come out and say, look, I made a mistake, right? I love my wife. We all make mistakes. I prayed about it. We're all good. Right? That's all he had to come out and do. But instead, everybody knows you fucked Stormy Daniels. Everybody knows that you're lying about it. And that's not winning him any support. All that they were voting, just like Bernie Sanders, all that they were voting for, right, was him doing what he said, was him being truthful with them. A complete jackass, but they thought that what he was saying he truly felt. And people,
yeah,
100%. Like, look, yeah, he's a total dick, but he's not lying to me. And as soon as it comes out that he's lying to you, it undermines all of that. It's where Bernie Sanders lost his, it's where Bernie Sanders lost a lot of his support, right? And people that were all for it that didn't agree with him politically, really, right? They're against fuck socialism, that kind of mindset, right? But they didn't think that he was lying to them. And then when he came out and supported Hillary Clinton, it clicked. Like, yeah, he was totally lying to us. For whatever reason that was, as soon as that happens, you lose huge amounts of support. And you could have came out and said anything. And as long as people felt it was the truth, he was speaking his mind, right? They would have supported you. And that's what seems to be undoing these guys. You can be a total jackass. America loves a jackass, right? But you have to believe in what you're saying.
Well, Bernie was easily bought off. A few lake houses was enough for him to cave into Hillary instead of standing up like a man and, stirring up some trouble over there. I mean, he could have done it too, because it was obvious what was going on.
He didn't need, that was a real deal revolution. He did not need the Democratic Party. And it'll come out. I don't know what the deal is. He's not, he is rich, in comparison to the rest of us. he's like it's so weird on the like immediate support of the people. Like, how many times did he say neoliberal? You know, how many times did he speak out against the oligarchy, and then boom, like 100% support of neoliberals? Like, I'm with Cornel West, and like him and I had like some serious conversations about it. And you know, look, I go the same thing. I absolutely love the guy, but I can't support you on that. No way. No way.
Well, see, he's another one. He's a typical politician. He gets bought off cheap. Instead of standing up and being a man, it was easier for him, say, for $1 million, however many, you know, these it's $1 million. Well, he sold out cheap. That $1 million was worth more than standing up and doing what was right and being a man. And that just blows me away. It's just like a fucking $1 million. It's like, hey, you're about ready to die anyway. What fucking difference does it make? You know, be a man, you know?
Yeah. And
because he was offered the third party seat, right?
Yeah. Like, and the presidency. And I think he would have got that much. I mean, he would have got that much more support. He could have went independent. He didn't need the Democratic Party. And the thing that gets me is look, we all know that there is only one party system. You could say that, look, I will step down to Hillary Clinton, but I want fucking healthcare. I want the entire fucking country to have healthcare, or I'll bury you completely, right? And he had that kind of power and didn't have the balls to come up and say it. You know, like, what threat, when you knew, like, when you saw the stands, and you saw the people, and you saw all of that, when you knew that you had that much power, that was the moment to stand up for the people.
Yeah, and even I mean, you'd be a friggin' hero.
Yeah, 100%. Like, look, okay, yeah, I stepped down to Hillary Clinton. They pulled the right strings. The country has fucking healthcare. Even if the world didn't know about it, you could sleep well at night. Like, what did we get out of this? And I'm talking, like, stepping back, you know, that the government is really only one system. Pull the strings you got to fucking pull. I want every Republican to vote for it. You know what I mean? Hands up and screaming. I don't give a fuck how it goes down. If you want me to step away from this, right, and make sure that, you know what I mean, that a socialist is the president of the United States, I want fucking healthcare. You know, there's so many, you know what I mean, there's so much, you know, I've heard the thing that, you know, that somehow they threatened him and, you know what I mean, all that, they came like, you know, that there was threats to his family and all that. Maybe fair enough, you know, because people do die a lot around the Clintons, right? But I'd say the same thing. It's all like, look, I'm going to be president. If you don't fucking kill me, I will have the CIA, the FBI, the NSA so far up your ass, you don't know where you know which way you're going. Right? I will have mercenaries looking at you 24/7. The dirtiest fucking SEAL team ever fucking known to man to be sitting outside your house every single day if you ever come in here and threaten me again.
Yeah.
But these guys don't have those fucking stones. Like, I'm about to be the leader of the fucking free world and in charge of the most powerful military in the world, and you're gonna threaten me? You know what happened to fucking Saddam Hussein? But I don't know, man. Like, I hope that we get a couple of leaders here. I know that Jesse Ventura is talking about running. I sure hope that he does. If you guys ever get a chance, David Strider, right? He's like he's an ex-Marine. I'd like to have on here someday. Dude does not take shit from anybody. If you ever get a chance to look at him, I think he's running for Congress in Washington. And, like, he's that kind of guy, like the Jesse Ventura version of politician. I'd love to see some of those people get into politics.
Can you repeat his name one more time?
It's David Strider.
Okay.
Like, I know the guy. He was one of the people that sent us, like, equipment and supplies to Standing Rock. So, like, he was one of my connects for that. And, I mean, he did everything humanly possible to get stuff there, which was super cool. But then as I got to know the guy, I mean, he is, like I said, he's an ex-Marine, and he brings that, like, Marine Corps drive to fighting for the people the same way that Jesse Ventura does. It's just super cool to see. I wish him luck. We need more guys like that are driven for the people and nothing else. Where I can only imagine coming in and trying to threaten like either of those guys. You know what I mean? Like, nah, fuck you. And like, I like seeing.
I'm looking at his site. He does have like a lot of interesting stuff on it, like the water is life, yeah, and do not be fooled by the two parties, and he's pro cannabis, and yeah.
Well, and I don't know the whole story, but I know that like he was involved in some of the first like legal farms out there, and had like a bit of a standoff between the government. I don't know all the specifics of it, but he's definitely pro cannabis, pro medical cannabis. If you ever like, he's one of those guys. Don't get him started. Yeah, I don't know how else to like. I don't know how else to explain it, but like, if you guys, like I said, he reminds me a lot of Jesse Ventura, and it's the things that I like about Jesse Ventura. He had a show. Jesse Ventura did back in the day of like conspiracy theories, something like that.
Yeah.
And like, some of the big ones, he would go and I mean like literally stick his nose, like just ask the questions. And there were times, because you guys know that Jesse was a SEAL, right? Special Ops in Vietnam and in Southeast Asia. So the missions, he doesn't talk about the mission specifically, but you can't deny that you sent him to do bad and illegal things, so you can't argue with him about it either. So like, he won't talk about things that would be considered classified, but you can't tell him that you didn't send me to kill these people. I did. You know what I mean? And he's got that attitude when it comes to it. There's those weird like government facilities, I think out in Missouri, that they've built into the cave, this like $1 billion house that looks like a house in the middle of nowhere that actually goes down into fucking this weird research facility. And it was something that was always kind of a conspiracy theory. And no shit, like he was held at gunpoint, like sticking his nose in there, trying to find out exactly what was going on. I mean, guys with M16s, like, we will shoot you. And I mean, he's walking towards them saying, you're going to shoot a senator, you know what I mean? An ex-senator. It was kind of impressive to see. And I mean, he went on and did some stuff with David Icke.
He was also at the Harp.
Yeah, he was like, I really like that about him. Like, okay, let's go and check this shit out.
FEMA camps that were out in the middle of fucks nowhere in the new Guantanamo Bay or whatever they're calling it. He went out to there too.
Yeah, I really like that about him. And like when he's like, when he has the power to do it, he's done it. Look, it's like, if you're willing to, you know what I mean, to stare down, like, look, I can tell you, you're given an order that nobody gets in there, right? It doesn't matter who it is, you know what I mean? If you're willing to stand down somebody in that, like, position to find out the truth, like, I can definitely respect that.
Well, you have so many of these areas like Area 51 now where it's like, wait a minute, I'm a congressman, or underneath, basically the president or vice president, it's like nobody gets to go there. It's like, what is this place? I mean, what do you mean? I as a rep or a congressman can't come and onto this facility and look around. I'm the government. You're not the fucking government. This is the military industrial complex gets away with more shit like that. And it's just like, well, hey, just because you got mercenaries, it's like, that doesn't mean they got any kind of arrest powers, or they can just kill whoever the fuck they want. Where do you guys get the authority? See?
And that's the question. Like, where do you get
don't
the
have
authority?
the authority.
We can all argue all day on whether you can use mercenaries overseas. I personally think that that's insanely illegal and extremely unethical, right? But when it comes to on U.S. soil, there is absolutely no reason by law that you should be able to use fucking mercenaries on U.S. citizens. No way. No way. Especially on behalf of, you're just a private corporation that hires mercenaries against U.S. citizens?
Hey, that's fine if it's for your own security, but you can't use those people against the people and act like that's okay and there's no laws being broken. It's like, I
What
mean,
they
that's
I
that's a
think that
that's
I
a
think
huge
the
leap, man.
I think the big secret, right? To be honest with you, I think the big secret is that we don't have any cool space age alien technology. When you go to Area 51, it's just a bunch of fucking boxes and some like, some big screens. But it really, like, we developed a jet at the end of World War II, right? With the amount of money that we spent, with the things that we could do, chances are the things that Anonymous alone would have been able to pull off with the trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars that they have, we should have beyond space age technology, right? At least, you know what I mean? We should be at least be able to travel within our solar system. When it comes to weapons, I think we may have hit a limit. There is only so many ways to kill people.
Yeah.
And we have made, you know what I mean? We've developed every laser, every jet, every rocket, every satellite. At a certain point, we may have plateaued. There is just only so many ways to kill people, right? Once you get certain technologies, obviously facial recognition has been around for a while. Our satellites have been able to pick up all of that. That's obviously gotten way better. But at a certain point, once I can see the pores in your skin and track you anywhere in the world, what else can I do, right? That technology is pretty much plateaued. It could be used for almost anything else at that point. When it comes to rockets and bombs, well, I can kill everybody in a city, right, with a conventional bomb. That's really, once I make that bomb, you know what I mean, a little bit smaller, it really hits a plateau. There's only so many ways to kill people. And that includes viruses and such too. We may have completely plateaued.
It's about control now.
Yeah, 100. I really do think that is the secret with like continued military research. We can have a plane
that might be the
anywhere.
answer.
We can have a plane anywhere in the world to bomb you 24/7 for days on end within an hour. Right? And maybe we can do it in 15 minutes. Maybe we can shoot it at any point from rockets that we have mounted in space. But the point is, at a certain point, that's all you can do.
I mean, they need people to, make things, they need a society. So control, that's where they want to control everything.
Well, and the things that our technology is catching up with are things that lose them control. The media was a big part. You had to have control of the media, right? Medicines are a big point. Computers are eventually going to get fast enough that I can ask my AI quantum computer, hey, how do you cure cancer? And it's going to tell me, right? Because the calculations can be done in a pocket watch that would have taken an entire building to do today. Right? So that industry is going to become a real problem when we start being able to ask your home computer, how do I cure this disease? Well, then that industry is over, right? When I'm able to figure out and build solar panels in my backyard with my 3D printer, right? And crowdfund that to give them away to people. Well, that control over over energy starts becoming a real problem. Right. Once I can start doing crisping in my home, right, and I can not make genetically modified foods that are designed to fuck over farmers and need you to use weird pesticides, but make a genetically modified food that makes tomatoes big enough to feed an entire village. Right. What are you going to do about that?
I think that's where the disinfo agents come in online.
Yeah, like with a lot of these technologies that are coming down the pipe, it's not the technology that I think is the problem. It's the people that are in charge of that technology you can't trust. Medical research isn't the problem. Pfizer is the fucking problem. Right? Research into better into better engines and propulsion systems, right, is not the deal. It's not a bad deal. It's that we're only putting them on rockets to kill people on Earth. right? So I mean, same with GMOs. I don't think that GMOs are inherently evil. I think it's the people that are running GMOs. Monsanto is the fucking problem. You're telling me that I can grow food in the middle of the fucking desert by changing this gene? Yeah, let's do that. But that's not what they do, right? They change the gene so your small village has to use these seeds, that has to take, that has to use this weird herbicide that I'm using, or it won't grow.
Well,
and by the way,
they're building the pesticide in the food.
Yeah. And the deal is, and they've done plenty of research that says that you will actually have bigger yields without the pesticide. That the life that goes on inside your field, although the farmer has to control what's going on, the bugs and animals and all of that, feeds the ground the way that it's supposed to, and you actually have bigger yields and and healthier, and healthier fruits and vegetables. Where the pesticides that kill everything, right, mess up the whole ecosystem of what's supposed to be going on to grow food. But our farmers are kicking ass.
Yeah,
Well,
there's controversy.
what did we do before pesticides? Well, I mean, what did we do? We grew it.
Yeah, there were natural things that farmers would use, putting tobacco leaves or the farmers have been using those kind of techniques forever. The introduction of modern pesticides is something that's fairly new. It's.
Well, and there's I'm gonna I'll get into some family history. So I mean there is my family's native, so there's a lot of the things we always would plant mint and all this lemongrass around your house to keep mosquitoes and all of the nasty bugs down. And they hate the stuff, but everything else absolutely loves them, right? And I don't think it's magic. With a small amount of research, right, I can find out what in sweetgrass or what in lemongrass makes the mosquitoes fuck up. And you don't have to have this weird chemical that kills everything in a 20-mile radius, including bees and all of the bugs that you do want there, is being the answer. A lot of the times it's the people that are in charge of these industries that's the problem, and not the industry itself. We need production. We need, there's things that we need, but not the way that they're going about it.
It all comes down to profit. How much can they profit?
Yeah. Profit over people every time.
Have you guys also heard about these cesspools from pig farming and the mega farms that they're having, where they just have these pools of waste and feces that are just kind of swirling around and that are going nowhere?
I'll post it if you get a chance, because we do drone flyovers of them constantly. If you go onto my YouTube, there's a video of the last one that we did out in Wisconsin, and this thing is nasty, man. And you can see the raw excrement bubbling and floating. It's absolutely disgusting. And to make it worse, right, it's right next to the Mississippi River. So their plan in building this is that they keep it in this giant open pool, which is already leached into the system in the area and has caused all of the wells to be poisoned. It's right next to the Mississippi, so when it floods, their hope is that it just washes it into the water. So they'll build these waterway, right, and knowing that it's in a flood zone, so that if they just wait long enough, they don't have to deal with it. But even in this area, and like I said, if you guys go onto my YouTube, I can even post it on here. And yeah, some of the other supporters in Wisconsin, we went out and flew the drone over it. And I mean, it's just absolutely disgusting. And they deny that this 100 million gallon just waste pit is the reason that the wells in the area were poisoned. Even though it's more than obvious, there's no denying it. All of my messaging apps and everything are all going crazy at the moment. Am I still on?
Yeah, you're on.
Messenger just shut down and is now reinstalling something. Facebook has blocked me completely. I wonder which one of the subjects that we touched on is the one they hate the most? Like, which is there? Is it just a culmination of all of them?
I got one that wasn't. It's kind of off the wall. There's a company that was hacked about 2 years ago. It's called Securus. They were, from what we know from the last hack, is that they were violating. This was a company that was monitoring inmates' phone calls, and apparently they were saving the metadata and violating the Sixth Amendment between confidentiality between inmates and lawyers. They were hacked again just like from what I heard, this month, and apparently they were caught tracking cell phones, and it was within the law enforcement community that was using this technology. And not only that, they were also from the data that was leaked, they were also caught tracking cell phones on fellow officers.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
You mean they don't trust each other?
Hey, but there is something else. There is something else surrounding that company, because these people are really sadistic. But because prisoners in the U.S. get they have the right to get visitors, right?
Yeah.
But this company gives video broadcasting capabilities, and they want to say we want to replace the visitors with our video broadcasting system, so prisoners can no longer get visitors in their while they're in prison.
Yeah, you know,
who sits around and thinks of these nightmares?
Bro, the prison industry, man. There's been some talk about reform and trying to do the way that Norway does it in certain places, but honestly, it's getting more caged animal.
Yeah, let's take away all human contact whatsoever. That's the way to rehabilitate somebody.
Well, their trick now is to hold you. They don't really press any charges. They just hold you because they make money off of that. And it works to law enforcement's favor too. It's just, it just suppresses you, gives them what they want, and then the prison complex, they get to make money. So it works for everybody, except for the guy in jail. But
well, yeah, the fact that they're recording, I understand that, once you're arrested and you are in custody of a detention center, you are technically property of the state, and they have the right to record your phone calls and charge you with other crimes based on what you said. But that doesn't apply to the confidentiality when they're talking to their lawyers over the phone,
Well, and I think we have to look at our justice system too. It's not like we're dealing with a good justice system in any way, shape, or form. I mean, the numbers that are coming out for the people that, well, chances are you didn't run from the cops. You didn't bum rush them and try to fight them. You didn't do all of the things that they've now put you in prison for, built this whole super predator mindset off of, and built a giant, complex to support that. Once you step back and think, but a lot of what you guys have said and a lot of the people that are in here shouldn't be in here, right? And then your solution is to treat them more, to spend more money to treat them more and more like animals. We need to record everything that you're saying for a person that we've put in jail for reasons that we know are wrong. So look at all of the people that are in jail right now that are being recorded for marijuana possession. Right? In the next 10 years, those people will be seen as completely and utterly innocent. You're holding them for something that is completely and utterly wrong, and the world is changing away from, right? And you're monitoring those people.
I did hear something about California trying to change all that, and they're I think what they were doing is they were trying to put in an algorithm that will look through the case files and reversing the charges on the marijuana because of the recreational full legalization on the West Coast. Now, if that can be adopted, between all the states, I mean, then you might see some change. But now they have so much shit to go through that they have to get an algorithm just to go through all the shit.
Oh, no, that's easy. The NSA listens to all of our conversations anyway. So just type it in there. Remember, they've got keywords. I don't know. You're in the middle of Silicon Valley and you can't figure out an algorithm.
Bomb.
It's just too hard
That's
to
one
go
of
through
them.
the computer system and type in marijuana arrest. It's gonna take us forever. Here's an idea: rather than spend all of the extra money for that private corporation to put in its little human bot, instead of having visitors anymore, you can spend that money to pay a programmer like $20,000 to make you the algorithm by Friday.
Yeah.
Like, if that's the problem, California, I will help. Just give me a call real quick. I'd like to make a few more of these precious plastic machines. So just donate to my PayPal, and I'll kick you out that algorithm right away. You'll just type in illegal marijuana arrest, and every person in the state of California that's ever been arrested on a marijuana charge will pop up. I'm pretty sure you can do that from the police cruiser. Like, doesn't your complete arrest record come up? Can't you just type in with the search bar in the top keywords?
I'm not sure how their system is set up. I'm not sure if all of them well, maybe. I mean, they might have full access to the full Department of the DOJ. They might.
How would they not? It's 2018. I can search those databases. Like, just go onto your local, like Wisconsin's, the Wisconsin Criminal Court, right? You just go onto there, type in the name, and it pops up everybody's arrest. No problem. I may be able to type it into Google. Siri, how many prisoners are in jail for marijuana possession? Have they tried to ask Siri?
I don't know. Let's see what else we got.
Yeah.
I got some more dirt on Facebook, so you're not gonna believe this shit, right? Apparently, like, I think it was like 2 years ago, possibly even further. Facebook has been on an ongoing case with the IRS, and this was based on income that they had outside of the U.S. and the total amount that they're fighting with the IRS is $7 billion.
Ouch. Boy, it would be great if there was some
they're going to
public
lose it.
outcry across Facebook and social media of undying support to Zuckerberg, but since you took the opportunity to fuck us all over constantly and censor our shit, that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, when I was reading up about this, their next court date is in August of 2019. I don't know if that was an editor's error, because I don't know how long these court cases are delayed. You know, like, oh yeah, show up in 1 year. But it was to the point where Facebook was appealing this shit, and the courts basically told them is that you don't have the right to appeal it. You need to pay it. So
he's gonna find out what authority and tyranny is all about. You know, he's playing his little censorship game, and now it's time for him to get bent over. It's just it's heartbreaking.
There's nobody on social media that feels bad for him. Like, if it was anybody else, look, we're still sitting on here talking about, like, you know, fighting for Assange and Snowden, and he gets screwed over, and everybody's like, yeah, well, I guess he had it coming, dude. You could have, like, stood with the people and not sold all of our personal information. I don't know.
Well, yeah, next week, Zuckerberg's going to have to go to the European Union in Brussels for the Parliament, and he's going to have to talk. He's going, like, which is really weird because I guess the EU had changed all the rules, and I'm getting all the updates from all my accounts, like blah 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 blah. I really don't know what it's all about, but
yeah, the 26th is the new privacy law.
Yeah, so now
GDPR.
Now Zuckerberg's going to be facing the same questioning that he was faced here in the U.S., but they're going to do it. I think they're going to do part of it in private and ask him the questions ahead of time. I'm assuming that the EU might be more harsh than Congress have been on him, but I'm not 100% certain on that.
It's gonna be fun to watch. The last one was fun to watch. He's a fun guy to watch get grilled in front of people. The dude is just filled with personality, that's for sure.
Dude, he looks like a robot.
Yeah,
I was about to say,
well,
he's a
he's a-
robot.
Yeah, he does.
He may be he may be a robot.
he doesn't
Oh,
instill
he
any
could pay for a
confidence.
robot that looks like him.
I don't know, man. And from what I'm hearing, as much as they've been talking about, protecting your data and shit like that, from what John was telling me, if you're an admin on Facebook, you're going to be seeing some new changes happening in the next week that kind of are like, what the fuck? Like identifying admins by their by their origin, where their IP address is, where they are located. Like, I'm sorry, but what is so inclined? I mean, why design a social media concept around all identifiable information around the subject when that wasn't the way it was originally set up? And then somewhere along the line, somewhere around 2010 and above, you had to have identifiable information that lined up with who you were. Back in the day, you used to be able to name yourself fucking Gunsmoke John, I Suck Dick, whatever the fuck you want, but now it has to line up with the government ID,
Well, because they lied to you. The big hook is always, most things, if you look at the corporate way of doing things, is to give you some things. They'll lose a little money at first. They give you some things, and it's like the best deal you've ever seen. It's like, this is great. And then when they think they've hooked you for some reason, because this is the way these wackadoodles think, when they think they've hooked you for long enough, then they start changing the program and doing all the censorship and all the rest of it. Because that was really the beginning. You didn't know that, and you didn't know that their intention was to turn it into a piece of crap, but that's really what they were at. That was the long-term plan. The short-term plan was to give you something nice for a while and tell you that it was yours.
Yeah, and I mean, it's really just set up to get that personal information, and that personal information is sold legally and illegally to any corporation that's buying. And the more precise they can get that algorithm, where you live, where you work, what time you get up in the morning, what time you poop in the morning, right? The more information that they can get, the better. They're like, you guys ever watch, what Futurama?
Yeah.
Those aliens with the trunks that are constantly trying to get as much personal information as possible. That's totally them. But no, that's the goal, is to use, Facebook to get as much personal information as possible and to know, what you do and when you do it. And that algorithm that's impossible to find to get innocent people out of prison, they kick out and change every couple of weeks on Facebook to sell your personal information. I bet you Facebook knows what your arrest record is.
Hey, did you ever see that Onion where they were pretty much making fun of Facebook, saying that the CIA gave Mark Zuckerberg an award for being the best agent in creating Facebook?
I have heard
get an award.
Oh yeah,
he did get an award from the CIA. I'm pretty sure the CIA doesn't give you an award for just being a great guy. They're not really that kind of organization. That seemed to be, he went from, that seemed to be his first client for, mining people's information. And then, like most things, after they used up some of that nice government money, they went on to the private sector.
What I've been saying, for a while, from what I'm hearing, they've already deleted, they determined to be 583 million accounts in the first 3 months, from what I read, of 2018. God knows how much, so that's like a quarter of their shit. But basically, this is a telltale sign of social media is in the shits, is you start seeing content creators move off. And content creators keep a majority of the people on there. Now, now, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of people on social media sites that just want to talk and look at cats and seeing who's fucking who. But a lot of people like to look at content creation. Now, they're not only using social media just to look at what everybody else is doing, but what we're seeing is that a lot of it's been starting and has been going on for a while. It's getting actually more noticeable is that content creators are moving off of that platform and on YouTube, specifically because of the rules taking away people's pages without everything, data breaches, you name it. I mean, I can go. I mean, I could talk about this for hours, but once the content creators leave, there's really I believe that the users will move on to something else.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, people don't have any loyalty to Facebook. They're just, and I think a lot of people are working on it. We're working on it. It's just that there isn't a viable alternative like we would like. It's coming, and the moment that it does, like, people will leave Facebook in droves. I don't really. We deleted 500 pages. You already sold the information. What does that matter?
I don't know.
Like you deleted it after the fact, not before the fact.
You mean
After you've sold the information, those people can continue to sell it. It's not like it goes away, right? So the corporation that you sold my personal information to, they can sell it to whoever they want as well. So you deleted it off of Facebook. That doesn't really change all the information you've already collected.
Here's some example. I'll give you an example of why content creators are moving off the platform. I know some people that have dumped some serious money into Facebook advertisements, and this is not some of it's not affiliated with the anonymous the anonymous world or activism, and without any message or decision, their Facebook page was unpublished, and I think it's kind of fucking illegal, to unpublish somebody's page without telling them why, and you've also spent money on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially if you spent money, because there's a contract there.
Yeah.
For exchange of money on top of everything else. It's a censorship platform. You can call it whatever you want, but I mean, it's not what they say it is. It's not what it started as. It's certainly not what they tell you it is.
And it's not what people want to use. Like, it's not what people want from their social media.
Screw it all up.
That's why you guys should come to the Hive Collective's social media site.
I didn't even know you guys had a social media.
Yeah, we kind of got one started. I got a link in the Hangouts.
Oh, you got to send it in here, because I remember John. Remember John Smith. He had a social media, but then it was kind of basic. It was more like
Facebook.
Yeah, it was more like it was the Anon network.
Anon Rising or something. It was.
Or the Anon network, and it had all of the features you'd want on a social. Some of them, but it kind of looked like he kind of took the layout of an atypical, you can literally set up a forum on your server. It kind of looked like that was his base model, and kind of adjusted and went on from there. But it wasn't. It had its downfalls.
Well, I think all of us kind of have it's needed. I mean, it's something that's coming. It's just which network will give people what they want, have the ease of use that people want. Like I said, a lot of people just want to kind of watch their favorite social media celebrities and post pictures of their cats. There's nothing wrong with that. So I mean, the network needs to help. Needs to be for those people as well.
Well, yeah, nobody thought that 4chan would have been as big as it was, but it happened. There were better things around, but when 4chan was around, MySpace was there. That was pretty popular, but 4chan was
4chan gave you a lot of freedom, though.
Yeah. Well, I remember back in the day when MySpace was still as popular, like we were doing things on MySpace that you couldn't pull off on Facebook, you know?
I think the first social media that implements a fighting game to settle disputes, yeah, I think that'll be the one that'll take over.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I do feel this is Facebook's decline, and this is where I know it's been going on for a while, but I do feel like this is the end of Facebook. The money aspect. That might take a while. It might take a while for it to die, like it's a bleeding beast. But eventually, I think it's gonna die. And I don't feel sad about it.
Not at all.
I don't think it'll ever really die. I mean, MySpace is still out there.
Yes, MySpace still has 50 million users that are still on it. I was surprised.
I don't think any of these big social media sites ever completely fail.
Oh shit. What else did we talk about? Damn, I think I went through all my all my everything that I was supposed to talk about. Did we ever get any of the Akron, Ohio people, or they?
No, they got the invite link, but they didn't join yet. They'll postpone it till the next episode.
Yeah, and it just sucks because that.
Yeah, well, we talked about it early in the episode. We can do a bit more.
Yeah, it just surprises me, that this is something we've talked about the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, and we've had people from Aaron's Law come on and talk about it. It's an outdated policy, and the courts need to recognize it. Where a distributed denial of service attack, what the alleged crimes were on this individual, really do absolutely no physical damage to a website. It's like putting too much water in a tube.
Yeah, or just blocking an access road to a building.
Yes, that's literally what it is. It really doesn't do anything, And the Federal Bureau of Investigation, thinks otherwise. The laws need to really change. If you listeners don't know about it, you can look up on a Twitter, Aaron. I think it's at Aaron's Law. They've been trying to. Aaron was from Aaron Schwartz. One of the co-creators of Reddit and Democracy and what is it? What was the other thing he created? Was Democracy Now? Or he was a founder.
Yeah, he did many things. He also made the RSS, a protocol used by bloggers to use it to lead from each other's feeds for free, and yeah.
Yeah, and the law was made in 1976, and I think it was, or was it 1970s? Yeah, it was the 80s. I think it was somewhere around there. But I believe the backing of it is they thought that somebody could, you could do real damage, with a computer, to the point, like in war games where they were, starting a nuclear war.
Yeah, that movie kind of freaked everybody out.
Yeah, that's the Kevin Mitnick story, like the illusion that he could launch nuclear missiles by whistling in a telephone. Yeah, that's what they really said on TV about him. Well, when they were looking for him, so.
They need to really have a separate court, separate laws. They need to rewrite the laws from this horse. It's like the laws that it doesn't. Every computer crime falls under the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, and what would be a crime that you thought would be a couple of months? No. We're talking 10 to 35 years in prison to life. Something. There are people that do much worse crimes to get less time.
Pedophiles,
aggravated assault, rape crime. You do a DDoS attack and you get caught with it, you're gonna do more time than you would on a rape case, which makes absolutely no sense.
Fucking bullshit.
How many guests? How many guests have we had on here that have been, that have fallen under there? Like a lot.
Yeah, and like with Laurie too. And we had so many of these people be like victims of this. Yeah, and we also already said it. Like a DDoS is like pretty much like blocking an access road. It's pretty much like a form of activism. There's no permanent damage done in any way, and to like put someone away for 10 years for this, it's incredible. Like it's shocking.
Well, how long do they want? Marty's still fighting his case. Remember, he's in federal prison, and they want to put him away for 35 fucking years for a DDoS attack to the Boston hospital. Because they said
Can you imagine 35 years? It's like,
yeah, well, in his case, he's gotten mouthy, so they really want to make an example out of him. He's not caving in. He's not playing along. So
good.
Yeah, they're really sticking it to him.
Yeah, with Marty's case, though, I believe they were having trouble getting a lawyer. No lawyer would touch his case without asking for like a couple of $1 million. Like,
I thought, what about Jay Lee?
Hijacking.
Yeah, I think he has a lawyer now, but like when we initially talked to his wife, she had trouble getting a lawyer. I think he's got a lawyer now, but he's still fighting it.
Yeah, well, like you said, these laws are just outdated. It's like from the 80s already, and it doesn't really work anymore right now. There's a big difference to just denying access to something and destroying something completely. Like they could have done a lot worse if they've put some effort on it.
I mean, literally, you can create a DDoS script, using a slow HTTP test and just just running that. I mean, it's so fucking it's retarded. Like a kid could fucking do it,
Yeah, in some of these cases, it's more like the fault of these website owners than the actual attacker. Because if you have
ping, black nurse attacks, you can ping. Not necessarily a lot of the modern websites, but there was a point in time where you could ping a website often.
Yeah, and like if you have like a police station or like a hospital, then at least have DDoS protection in place. Have emergency like backup sites to to still have your visitors helped out, because you're like they even said the emergency number, like the 911 number, was not working, and it's I've heard the story that they used a VoIP service for this. So they got like a VoIP emergency number in Akron, Ohio. So what the fuck is that? Like the Chinese or something could like throw everything down.
Yeah, that's kind of the downfall, using VoIP numbers. I mean, like you are subject to clogging the pipes,
Yeah. Please take this stuff off the internet. Just have like analog lines.
I'd be kind of surprised that that wouldn't surprise me that a police dispatching or the 911 operating services were using VoIP. Like it's like some sort of good thing. Like, but from a security standpoint, it's not.
No, it's not. No. And it's like all these people saying like, yeah, the nuclear reactors are being hacked and stuff. Like I'm thinking like, why would you put this stuff on the internet anyway? Why is it connected to the internet? Like, no, you can't do that. These things are like other utilities. You had this entire SCADA thing, for example. You had all these dams and all these other things connected to the actual internet, like remote access. And I'm thinking like, why are you putting all of this on the internet? This can all be managed offline.
Oh, you think that's bad? I knew a black hat that worked. He worked for John Deere, and the mega farms. he was telling me that a lot of that stuff is the automated ones. That's all done from the internet, and it's hackable.
Yeah. And there's something I can't really give like much details about it, but I know that there is like a company that owns like gas stations in the U.S. and I know all their gas stations were hackable too, and I actually know a hacker who like had control over all these gas stations in the U.S.
Well,
Can't
yeah,
like say which one it is, but it's like very it's very disturbing that all of this is possible. Like you don't need it, and if you want to be all digital and stuff, then use like a DVD or something to update stuff. Like, yeah, you have like a fiber access to your nuclear reactor.
Yeah, I think
Kidding me.
when Shodan, with all the stuff that we found that was connected into the internet, you'd think that engineers would look at that and be like, that's just a security flaw. Like, why would you do that? Like, why would you put it on the internet? Maybe on the intranet, a closed network. But
Yeah, it is also like cutting down on personnel and something. Like having one guy manage all these things like remotely, and so you don't need people at every building. But yeah, that's not worth the risk, I think. So yeah. I know it's cheaper. If one guy just pushing all the buttons, just seeing like a red thing or a flickering thing when something is wrong, and just clicking to fix it. But you're dealing with your national security, and like with these 911 or 911 numbers, there could be people like really in danger, and then if you have this on a VoIP and it is down, I don't think it's the hacker even to blame. It is your own fault for doing that. Yeah.
oh yeah, I'm looking at your guys' social network. This is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's still in the works, but I mean,
I'll give it a go for a while.
and you don't have to give your real information. We're not Facebook. We don't check.
Let's save this. I'll sign up after.
I use your paste bin thing sometimes. It's funny. It works.
Yeah, there's an interesting angle here that I'm catching on is why is it okay for a Facebook to censor you? I mean, if it's an alleged utility and I'm supposed to have access to it, why is it okay for him to censor me? And yet, let's say he did get DDoSed, why is that the crime? I censor
That's
you,
also a
you
good
censor
point.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a point. That's always been a standpoint, that can be argued, in court.
Like it goes both ways, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can always try and pull that one if he takes it to trial, but
Yeah, I mean, if it's again, he can't have it both ways. If it's a utility, well, then you shouldn't be doing it to me, and now you're guilty too. Then if it's not, then we can both do it. So which way is it? But you can't have it both ways.
yeah, well, what amazes me is that the maximum punishment for this crime, this alleged crime, is 10 years for scripts that you can write in less than 30 minutes. Like
Yeah.
it
Are
doesn't.
available freely on GitHub.com. So
I have a question.
Yeah.
If you're trolling somebody, let's say you disagree with them, and they disagree with you, and would you threaten to turn them into the FBI because they're trolling you? Is that
Nah.
I mean,
right?
well,
Okay.
that does it. It technically, there is a law out there, which is the Anti-Internet Cyberbullying Act, and that would fall under it. But I personally wouldn't. I mean, because a lot of people say things on the internet that you don't know
Well,
what the end user's
in
doing.
this situation, it's two anons, and yeah, one of them is a supporter of WikiLeaks, and the other one's not. And he was pretty much telling him, "Hey, look, the WikiLeaks is a Rothschild operation," and the other one disagreed. They got mad, got in a fight, and the other one said, "I'm going to report you to the FBI for this, that, and the other."
Well, he said he already did it, right?
Hmm.
He said he already
He,
did
well,
report him.
he said he did, and then he went back on it. I guess he kind of realized, "Ooh, I shouldn't have said that," because then he said, "I was just threatening to do that, but I didn't." We don't know if he did or not.
No, either way,
It's
it
fucked
wouldn't
up.
matter.
Hey, he's listening, Hive. So what do you want to tell him?
Well, I mean, you know,
I mean,
no,
what?
I've had a discussion with him, and I pretty much told him, I said, "Look, we all say a lot of stupid shit, and that's what I'm going to chalk that up to." But the other guy, he's not letting it go. He's pretty pissed about it. He says he's profited and all kinds of other shit. So
Yeah, well, it is hard for him to deny that part because there is like a donation thing on his Twitter and stuff. But
I think that's pushing it to the edge. An individual really has to evaluate something before you get the authorities involved, especially when it gets into dispute. The second you get the authorities involved, you have just delved into a whole nother realm of what the fuck have I just opened up? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's the first person they start looking at is you.
Yeah, well,
You
no,
stupid motherfucker.
and everybody you are affiliated with, and everybody that is that person affiliated. And when you're dealing with the FBI, there's also this other thing called the RICO laws, where you're guilty by association. So, yeah,
It's not going to do you any good. For what? I mean, what is the crime? I'm not even seeing. It's like, okay, he trolled you, and you disagree. So
well,
what?
it really
That's
wasn't
done.
even a trolling. Really, I mean, it was pretty much a disagreement. I guess.
Yeah. So let's say he talks to the FBI. Well, what's he going to tell him? I have this
Well,
guy I don't like on the internet, and he's saying bad things, and I disagree.
well,
What's worse?
the Hive.
No, it's
We make videos, and we get people that send us stuff like the UN video we made. Well, some people took some UN sites down, sent us the information, but he was going to tell the FBI that that Anon was doing it. So
yeah. That guy was fighting with another Anon, and then he said like, "I'm going to tell the FBI that you are behind doing this operation."
right.
So he was like going to snitch on him for doing like an Anon operation.
Right.
So
But he said he
pretty
was
shocking.
just, trying to scare him so he'd leave him alone.
that's some backstabbing shit, dude. Like, for real. Like, not
That
even
tells
on,
me all I need to know.
yeah, I was gonna say, not even on my worst day would I do something like that. Have I had a troll to the point where I have threatened to call the authorities on? Of course I have. But I made it apparent to, like, you need to back off, like, 20 million times.
I like trolls. I think they're like pets.
Oh no, this was so bad. This was like day and night calling me, deleting my accounts. They were hacking all my shit, deleting all my social media accounts. Like, it was pretty bad. Like, and then they were cloning me and making accounts that looked that were me, and then getting into chat rooms saying that they were me. That was to a whole nother level.
Yeah, they attempted to scare you too, I guess. But I don't think it really worked eventually. But it only makes you mad, right? Makes you like pissed off.
It makes you want to, like, find out where they are and just, like, beat the living shit out of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I've been following this stuff Hive talked about for the last few. It's been going on for like a week or something right now.
A couple days, really.
Yeah.
I ain't been keeping track. I've been trying to straighten it out, but it's it's kind of hard to. It's become more of an amusement to me now. So because
What the next person's gonna say? It's like get the popcorn ready.
I've already done that. I started Deadpool and Spidey Pool and the threads to try and get it to calm down.
Yeah. Now, I do think it has to be made clear that you can't like actually snitch to the FBI about like a non-operation some guy does, because you have like some Twitter fight. It's like it's too much, man. You can't do that. You can't.
I mean, that's just so dumb. I mean, okay, you're gonna cut your own throat. Good,
Yeah.
good plan.
It's like, hey, you guys are both doing something that's wrong, but you're gonna call the FBI on me? Okay, we were both doing something wrong.
To his credit, I don't think he actually did that. It was just to scare him. It was just to scare him, but I do think that it should be made like very clear that you can't say such stuff like in public and like expect no one to like respond to that. It's like, yeah, it's too much.
And the Anand, he seems to be pretty. He's done a lot of good work, but
Yeah.
he I think he just fucked up when he did that, and now so I don't know. I guess we'll see where
That's
it
when you
goes.
create a chat room or what platform that you're using, that you make sure that you have an admin status on something. The funny
And he
ones,
also
the
made
great
a
ones
death
are.
threat to somebody too,
Oh,
but he
really?
deleted that real quick. But someone got a screenshot of it.
I'm gonna kill it.
Yeah, he did. He did like death threats and stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
You remember that one Anon that threatened to kill me? That was crazy. That happened to me
Yeah.
too. That guy
There
actually.
was a time that we received those threats like almost daily, but yeah.
Oh,
There's some crazy people out there on the internet, man. That's all I can say.
You know the best.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what the best therapy is like. If you have that mute function on a chat room, and just let them try and say something. Oh, that's hilarious.
I remember a certain guy saying like he would come to my country to like smoke some joints sometimes, and then he said, "But I'm going to take a knife with me, so if you try something, I'm going to stab you."
What the?
A little bit paranoid there.
He's gonna stab somebody in a foreign country. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Oh, it's like you go to prison for stabbing someone here too. Just saying.
Yeah, I think the only country that's uber lenient is Norway.
Yeah.
Sweden.
It's
Funny you mentioned Norway.
Yeah, speaking of which, Norway's got the least amount of people in prison. It's so much that they've had to shut them down. Some of the prisons that they have up there.
Well, yeah, when you get down to it, I mean, people that are breaking actual laws, it's a fairly small part of the population. You don't need to. I mean, you can fill our prisons up with dope smokers and guys that got caught with a bud or whatever all day long. But that's not real law enforcement. That's just the whole fascist political or prison industrial complex.
Revenue.
Yeah, more revenue generation. That's all that is. Because the real criminals, there's not that many. Most people aren't going to kill. I mean, they're out there. You need prisons for bad guys, but the numbers are so small if you're just going after the true criminals.
Pedophiles, they're everywhere. They're true criminals. They're not even
Well,
considered.
I know. That's a violent crime. I mean, that's actual assault and everything. And they don't treat it as such. It's a big joke.
They're
That's
trying to
just more
change that
proof
though.
of who's in charge.
That's actually something that they're trying to change federally.
Well, yeah. I mean, come on. How did it ever get to that point
I don't know,
where
but
all these networks and all these people and they're all up in the judicial and police and they're all covering for each other? It's like, give me a break, man.
Maps.
That is so corrupt. I mean, and then plus the laws are in your favor. Give me a break. That's not a little conspiracy. That's a huge one.
Yep.
And it's in your face. It's like, how come every step is geared for these people? It's not an accident.
Have you guys looked at the report list we're doing with like Twitter and some other stuff?
no, I haven't.
It's gotten quite large.
You know what's funny is that you're talking about reporting accounts or whatever, but there's
Pedophiles don't count.
There's a new law. No, there's a new law that got passed. There's this SAPSA or SOSA or whatever the hell it was called. Now a website is legally responsible if they find sex crimes on their website. So a domain can be responsible for a crime that has been committed on that level. You know that? That's something
So
that's
that's
brand new.
That's the FOSTA law
Yeah.
or the SESTA law, SESTA. Yeah, that has also implications for other stuff that's on your website, other content. They make
So now,
Okay, so Twitter should be responsible for all the pedophiles that are on their site.
you could probably get a lawsuit on that. Yeah, you could probably do a legitimate case, like a legal case on them.
Because I think we got about over 8,000, over 9,000, something like that.
Like how many pedophile rings John, over the years have we busted over the years on Facebook?
yeah, so many.
So
I mean,
many. Jesus.
It's like flooded with that stuff on Facebook. On Twitter, it's bad too. By the way, it's like it's filled with that shit.
But you watch, it'll be selective. Facebook and Twitter won't be responsible, but if you've got a website that's got some image you didn't put on there, you'll be responsible. You'll get censored. Your site will get shut down. But they can have ISIS and cartel killings all day long. That's okay. That's not against terms of service. But your conservative speech, that sure is. Oh, fuck no, we ain't having that.
Oh, that's that part. Yeah, the conservatives are being like banned and stuff. I haven't really followed that, but I do see a lot of them complain.
Oh, it is. Well, hey, it's even happened to Trump's Twitter account. His traffic is down 50% over the last year. And these chuckleheads are so dumb, they don't even understand that it's happening to them. That's what kills me. And you're the friggin' president. And then you're just like, duh, well, what can I do about it? Well, you're the goddamn president. You ought to know what to do about it. It ought to be real easy.
He needs to call.
You just make you make a few phone calls and it's like, things start to happen, or else, and the or else they don't want to, they won't go there. That's how you do it. But if you just act stupid and let it all go on, and oh yeah, they're censoring YouTube, Mr. President. Oh really? It's like, oh man, we got these guys. I mean, this is so pathetic.
The same thing happens. And a lot of people don't notice. I've been following Julian Assange and at WikiLeaks, for a long time. And when they post, like, I don't see anything unless I physically have to go over to their Twitter feed.
Yeah, there is some shadow banning happening. Yeah.
Well, another one they did today. There was I think he was out of Alabama or Georgia. There's a guy running. He's a Republican, and he got this bus, but it's the deportation bus. He's going on the immigration thing, right? Well, I don't know if it was Twitter or Facebook, pulled his page and wouldn't let him link out and everything. He's just like, hey, I'm a political candidate, man. It's like, you can't do that. So they let him come back, but it just shows you, it's just like they're going after political candidates now. And it's only when you make the biggest stink that you even, get back. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, that's straight up political manipulation there. You can't do that to a candidate. But there it is. It's stunning, man.
Hey, I've got someone that wants to be added to this conversation.
Okay. Adam.
All right, hold on a minute.
How much time we got left? About half hour?
Yeah, about a half an hour.
God, what was I gonna say?
Did y'all cover the guy out of? I think he's out of Dallas. He's a what? Well, they're labeling him the black identity extremist. They threw him in jail for a couple years. Let me get his name here. And they threw him in jail for nothing, pretty much, but his Facebook post. That's what's amazing about it. Oh shit, where is it here? Rakeem Balagun. Yeah, he was under FBI surveillance. He's what they labeled as a black identity extremist. So they threw him in jail for like a year and a half with no charges. He just got out. Of course, his wife's all fucked up.
Hey, girls.
Hello.
Honk a few times for us.
You want me to honk for you? I will always honk. What's going on, fellas? You guys never hear my voice, but this is This is Geo, the most savage faggot in the world. But I heard you. I heard you speaking on Aaron. I'm the reason that Aaron pulled all that horse shit. I called him out on this bullshit, and then he sent like loads of fucktards at me.
Yeah, I didn't want to mention his name, but you're doing it already.
Was this
so,
the whole calling the FBI thing?
Yeah, dude, it was the whole. This is my issue. Okay, this is my issue. Like, dude, you got called out. All right, you got called out. You got put on Front Street. You made a whole big fucking mess. All right, and then when I call you out, I was there for it. The kid sent me a death threat and told me, "Oh, you're gonna be dead." And I'm like, "Really? I'm gonna be dead?" Like, I've had numerous, and like, I'm clown sec, dude. I'm an old anon. I'm an old fag. I'm fucking 2001 and before. You know what I mean? Like, I've been around a lot. So like, it's funny when I watch these kids come sideways at me. Like, I'm just sitting back, and like, old fag in me just wants to troll. You know what I mean? Like, I troll these kids, but that kid got so angry at me that he sent me the death threat. I'm the reason all this shit kicked off, is that I came at somebody because somebody was fucking with Hive, and somebody's fucking fucking with Elite, and they were fucking with the girls. I'm sorry, you're not gonna fuck with my friends.
Yeah, and like,
So,
the dumb thing is, like, if he calls the FBI, they're gonna investigate him as well. I don't think he gets it. Like, you know what I mean?
well, here's the catch, dude. Like, you're gonna call the FBI on me? I haven't done anything but troll you. So, what exactly is the platform that you're gonna ride with the FBI on? You know what I mean? Like, oh, this guy trolled me. I got butt hurt, so I'm gonna call you. I'm sorry, dude. Like, I saw the shit that he was pulling, and that kid, man, that kid is so full of shit. Like, he feeds you shit and feeds you shit, and he's got these kids like sucking him off, like believing everything he's got, and he's got Expectus, that anon Expectus chick. Like, where the fuck did she come from, dude? Like, she wouldn't leave alone. But yeah, that, like Hive said, that shit's been going on for like 3 days now. Like, it's all like, and I'm the catalyst for it all because I saw him like going after a couple of the girls, and I'm sorry, like, I might be clown sec. Yeah, I'm clown sec. I'm all about the laws, dude. That's where we came from. We didn't come from hacking people. We came from making people laugh on the internet. We came from fucking betards. You know what I mean? We are all betards.
Amen.
Well, it's
so
what it
them
is.
fighting and stuff was okay, but then what he like, then did, like, he was threatening this elite with like snitching to like the FBI and stuff about
Well,
his
he said
operation.
he said he snitched on that fucking Aaron kid from fucking Akron. He said he snitched on the Akron kid. And he was flaunting that shit like it was no big deal. And this is the whole thing. Like Hive said about the death threat. The death threat was there, and MJ reported it. A few other reported it.
You just said he leaked on.
Oh, he threatened me, dude. He threatened me. He told me you're gonna be dead.
Because like that's like not a
I
hop,
posted
skip, and a
that
jump
in,
from the same
Hangouts,
people.
by the way.
Yeah, that's like no territory. Like snitching on other people, you know.
Oh, dude, and Hive, like you've heard me tell you before, you don't know how many death threats I've received, dude. And George Lennox will tell you, like he'll tell you if Gio isn't receiving a death threat a week, dude, like I'm not doing something right. I get it all the time. Like these guys, and I don't know. I'm an old school alien, like I said, man. My first Million Mass March was 2011. I went 2012, 2013. Around 2013, I started to see divisionary effects going in. I started to watch these sects pop up. I started to watch these new kids come in, and I started to watch, expect us. People screaming, expect us. I had a kid named Rusty Shackelford from Baltimore. Literally, I live a half hour from Baltimore. The kid's like, I'm gonna show up. Show the fuck up, dude.
Oh, Rusty,
I want. Oh, fuck Rusty, dude. Rusty lives in downtown Baltimore, dude. He told me 4 years ago he was going to show up in my house. 4 years ago, dude. I could have walked to your house before then. You know, and like I have guns. Like I don't flaunt them, but like don't threaten me because I'll show you. You come to my house, I will fuck you up. I've told a couple Anons. There was actually I had a run-in with a non-ghost like a few years ago where Siege was running around with a non-ghost telling people that they were going to show up in my house. They had the audacity to run around when I was living on Pool Road to tell these people that they showed up at my house and I wouldn't walk out the door. Fuck you. I'm not scared of you. Bring your ass to my house. You're going to leave in a bag. I guarantee it.
I like Gio.
Dude, I'm just real, dude. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just a real cat, though. You know what I mean? I like, and the problem is, I say a lot of things that people want to say, but they don't. Like I have, and it's not me being fearless. It's not me being fucking keyboard warrior. It's me being real. And if people can't handle it, fuck you. I'm sorry. You need to get your pussy sewn up, you fucking sore bastard. Fuck's sakes. But it's nice to meet y'all, man. It's nice to hear y'all. I am Gio. They call me Gio. You can always blame it on me. I'm the blame of all the Anon bullshit from about 4 years ago. About 4 years ago, I got blamed for bullying a kid into suicide, which ended up in about 6 hours of op work. Found out that this kid was lying. We caught him at home and found out that it was just a troll prank to try to take me down. I love it, though. It's good shit.
Well, that's part of you. They're just trying to swat you.
Dude, I've had that too. Like, I've had a couple kids. He calls himself Syringe. You can look up his ad. It's all protected. Him and there was a girl named Panda that was running around. I don't know if you guys know about Tara Dozier, who was running around, who got in a lot of trouble with Anons because she was talking to a 14-year-old boy. The bitch is my age almost. She's like in her 30s. Like, you can find her. She's at Narcotics. And her boyfriend is at Syringe. He's 19 years old. Like, you're borderline pedophile. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
Yeah, it's weird. And like I started talking to the girl, and like, you know, she was, and she's a groomer. Like, her thing is she pulls people into her little circle, like pumps them up, and then turns on them. Like, it's absolutely insane. And apparently, like, some of my old clown buddies were after her. And she was like, "Oh, tell them to stay off me. Tell them to stay off me." I'm like, I can't tell people not to fuck with you. I have no control over the internet, dude. If anyone wants to roll on you and you want to get a wave on you, they're going to come at you regardless of what Gio has to say or what Hive has to say or what any of you two have to say. If people have a problem with you, they're going to come at you and address you.
Well, that's what I told one guy. I said, "Look, man," I said, "I can try, but you know, I can't keep.
You can't stop me, dude. People can't stop me. Like,
throwing up. Actually, I did tell him. I said, "ClownSec is its own entity."
I did see that, dude. And you know, like, and this is the whole thing, like, with the ClownSec deal. All right, like, I'm an old Facebook ClownSec Facebook. But when I talk to those guys, I said I run on 2 platforms. I run on Facebook and I run on Twitter. And I started talking to Donnie Fickles and I talked to Sean McDonald, who are OG ClownSec. And they're like, dude, if that's what you want to do, you go over there and raise awareness. The whole point of me being on there is to raise awareness for being somebody that goes out and being an activist. That's the whole point of ClownSec. If you guys and anybody that's listening wants to check out our website, we are clownsec.com. We are activists, but I wear a red nose. When I'm online, I'm a troll. When I'm out on the street, I'm doing my business. You know, I've got kids that talk shit about me. Oh, what do you do? I have pictures. Like, I can show you where I've been. I can tell you what the fuck I've done. You know, I've got people that'll back you up.
You showed me walking in like Washington with like.
Yeah, that's me, man. That's my daughter on my shoulder. I have a green shirt on. Like, I have other pictures with Ken Skutnik and Flint Ops. Like, my daughter at the 2012 Million Mass March was a 4-year-old. That little girl on my shoulders that you see walking, she was 4. She helped me walk all the way to the White House. And then we walked from the White House all the way to the Capitol building. When she got tired about halfway, that picture that you saw with the green shirt and her on my shoulders was actually caught up by a national news rag. The guy that wrote the article, like, sent it to me. He's like, they wouldn't take my article because it was all about Anonymous. Anonymous in the news is very, very, very shadowed. Like, they don't want people to know about that stuff.
No, they don't. Like even what happened with well, I'm not going to go by his original handle. I'm just going to go by the new one, Akron Phoenix 420.
Yeah.
This is almost complete. Like, you have to dig for it just to find it.
When I saw that shit, this is what irked me about that kid. Like, that kid's told on himself, and like Hype told me that he didn't tell on himself. I don't know how the news is going. The news is playing out like he ratted on himself, and he went out and told him. I mean, like, I can't feel bad for you if you told on yourself in any way, shape, or form. Like, you told on yourself. I'm not talking to the police. Even with, like, he didn't have a lawyer either. That's the thing that catches me. Like, you talk to the police without, like, legal representation. Like, you deserve everything that comes at you.
Well,
actually,
he's got a lawyer now. Yeah.
Hive got.
Oh, he does. Good.
Blamed. Hive got blamed for him getting arrested.
Yeah, because that fucking Aaron kid was running his fucking mouth.
He said that it was our fault because we had bad OPSEC. I said, we didn't even know the guy. We'd never met.
I didn't hear about it until Lennox told me about it a couple of days ago, and I started delving into it, and that's when that Aaron shit popped up. So I went directly at Aaron because I watched the new fag ego fag like fame fag bullshit, dude. Like, oh, I write for an article. I'm like this journalist. No, dude, you're not. You're a fucking propaganda writer, dude. I hope to God he's listening because he can suck my fucking dick, faggot.
That's another thing I want to point out. ClownSec gets a bad rap about shit. Because I had people tell me, oh, you want to avoid them. And I went to their website. And the website reads like a fucking Anon website, except they have distanced themselves from Anon.
We distance ourselves from the mask.
They have the idea. That's what it is. They have the same idea.
Thank you. At least you see it because that's the way. That's like the whole thing that I'm trying to portray. Like I have little, like I have, I have my little clowns with me, dude. I handpick those guys because they have the idea in their head. You know, they know. Like you see Mar Harklett and all them cats. They know what's going on. MJ. When I first met Mary Jane, she hated me. Who backs me up now?
Yeah.
Because I put it out to her like this. I said, look, MJ, because she was running around the real name. I said, MJ, I need you to take your name off this. You're going to claim to be a pedo hunter, but I don't need people running you down because you got your name. Then she changed it to the 0003. I was like, I need you to be safe. If this is what you're going to do, I need you because, like, who's to say that these guys don't, you might catch that one pedo that's a fucking hackser. You know what I mean? And how do you know that he's not going to find you? So I need you to be safe as fucking possible. Yeah, exactly. I need you safe as fucking possible to make sure that you can do what you do. I'm an old pedo hunter. I quit though. Like I got a guy. Oh God, this guy was so fucking disgusting. All right. I set up a sock on Facebook as a 15, 16-year-old girl who had just turned 16. This guy was from Elizabethtown, PA, and I set this whole profile up. The best thing about it, if you guys are gonna make like stock profiles that are girls to have people hunt down, you need to have females help you out make them. You need a female to help you and give you guide. These girls helped me out so hardcore. My friend Sheila helped me out. Like she's Sheila Nimitz. She's a she-wolf on at she-wolf. She and a couple English girls that were like, we need you to do this. And I'm like, tell me, make this as realistic as possible. All right. So this guy sends me a message. I literally had this profile up for maybe 6 hours. This guy wanted me to drive from Pittsburgh, where I had set this profile up. He wanted me to drive from Pittsburgh to Elizabethtown, which is a 6-hour drive, stay in a hotel with him, fuck me in a car, and then this shit. So like I sent everything that I had. I gathered all the shit and sent them to Elizabethtown. I could find the guy's fucking profile on Facebook, but I'm banned from Facebook now because people report me for being an asshole. But I had this guy to the point where he was really ready to fucking meet me at a rest stop outside of Elizabethtown and take me to a hotel. Steven, his name is StephenGephart. Steven Gephardt, that's his name. He's an old bald man, glasses, mustache, straight up like just I was like disgusted at the things that I heard from his fingertips. Like I've never in my life, dude, that's when I stopped pedo hunting. Like I did it for 2 years, and then that last bit was just like, what the fuck? Like, are you fucking serious? I have a 9-year-old daughter, dude. I have a 17-year-old kid, I have an 18-year-old kid, I have a 9-year-old kid, and I have a 2-year-old kid. And if you come with my 9-year-old daughter like the way this dude come, I'll kill you. I guarantee it. Like I will go to jail. You guys see my guns? I have guns.
Yeah.
I'll fucking break somebody. You don't fuck with my friends. You don't fuck with my family. That's one thing that I will say. I will go down. I will go to jail for it. I told somebody they ever touch my kid, I'll kill you and I'll go to jail. I'll go turn myself in. You touch my daughter, I'll kill myself and go turn myself. I'll kill you and turn myself in. Don't have any issues with it. But I didn't mean to like rain on y'all's parade. It was nice to hear you guys because I never even actually talked to you guys. I've only had keyboard chats with you.
Crickets.
It's my fault, Gio. Blame it on me. It's my fault. I did it.
Tyler, did we cover like every subject now tonight, then? Or?
Yo, is that Steve? Let me find out that Steve Truther Pilot in here. Steve, are you in here? That's not Steve Keen, is it?
No, Steve Keen's in England.
No, I was looking at the Pirate Anon mask in here.
Oh no, that's
John
it's
Goodman.
Preston. All right, I was gonna say that. Yeah, it looks like it looked like Steve Keen shit.
Yeah, it does look a bit like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pirate stuff.
Steve's my boy, man. Steve's an old friend of mine, like old. I remember him, and that's one of those cats that, like, and I will always stand behind Steve. Like, he's never ever fuck with me. He's never come sideways at me. Like, that's the one thing about like me. I'm loyal. If you prove yourself to me, I will be loyal to you. And I will stick up for you. And it's funny because when I roll on threads, motherfuckers leave. And I had somebody earlier tell me, they're like, your reputation must precede you because that dude rolled out real fucking quick as soon as you popped up. And I'm just a verbally like sadistic fucker. I'm sorry. Like I say things that people think about. And like if I see anybody fucking with any one of you guys, believe me, I'm gonna be there.
Wait, didn't you guys control the LulzSec group on Facebook at one point?
Yes.
Oh my god!
Like,
I walked into that like when I was a new anon. Like this had been like 4 years ago. I came into that group and somebody gave me a link, and then I left, and somebody kept on adding me back, and I was like, bro, like what the fuck? I didn't know what was going
fuck's
on.
wrong with these guys?
I was like there was some guy with like a chicken on his head, and like people were like reporting each other, and then like I was like, what the fuck was going on here?
do you guys don't have run-ins with THF, do you?
All the time. Not lately though.
That's Sammy's my boy. I love Sammy to death, man. Sammy is one of my old fag friends. I wish he would use his energy otherwise. And he's got Molly with him, and Molly has a hard on for me. That bitch is the reason why I'm banned from Facebook. Every time I pop on Facebook, she finds me, she reports me, and I'm down. Like I don't know. Like it's come down to the point where I make memes now. Like I have a couple memes of Zuckerberg giving the finger saying this is Zuckerberg, a rare photo of Zuckerberg deactivating my account, and then I have another one that says session closed, please log out, like that kind of shit. Like I found more love on Twitter than I do on Facebook, even though I still have a lot of Facebook followers that come over to Twitter and hang out with me. You know, it's like I appreciate finding you guys. Like I said, I still hold the ideal in my head. You know what I mean? Like I still have this idea in my head that I see when I was first anonymous in like 2002. Like I know what this is about. It's like, am I doing something wrong when I try to portray these to people and tell them that we are activists? Like I don't need a mask to tell you that I need to do what I need to do is right. Like you automatically know in your head, and you shouldn't have to hide behind a Guy Fawkes mask to fucking do it. It should be something ingrained in your head that you know is right, and you know that this is what I want to do, and these are the people that I want to help, and fuck everybody else because this is my goal, and I'm going to accomplish the goal that I put myself forward to. That's my idea of anonymous. Like anonymous is it's a living, breathing entity, and I will always hold the real ideal in my head. I just can't do this new secular shit, dude. These new breakups, these new splits, like the prophecy set kid. What the fuck is prophecy set?
I haven't heard of that one.
You know, that kid came sideways at me earlier today. I'm like, who the fuck are you? What the fuck is a prophecy suck? Like, fuck are you? You know, and you got all these little kids claiming Haxer, and like the new docs is, hey, like, or you guys saw earlier days, like, I know your Gmail account. Well, sorry, fucker, you have my Gmail account because I use trash Gmail accounts for my social media. I use yandex.ru for my actual mail account. I use a Russian mail like server for my shit because I know they're gonna hack into my shit.
They tried to hack my shit, but I don't know whose fucking shit they got. They got somebody else.
Oh, I saw that shit. Yeah, I saw that shit earlier, dude. Yeah, and they were like, what was that whoop whoop shit? They were like, his password is whoop whoop. I'm like, what are you talking about?
I thought that was funny. I don't know who they got though. The poor
dude,
fucker.
they were throwing your shit around like it was like fucking, like it was candy. You know what I mean? I was just sitting back just watching, like, you guys really don't have a fucking clue. These guys are tighter than you think they are. Like, these new fag kids are killing me though. So I don't know.
I want to know whose email that is though.
I was gonna say,
I could probably. I got tools. I could run it if you want me to.
I was gonna say, even on a Gmail account, you can set up like you know random number generators that even if they got the password, they still wouldn't be able to get in. Yeah.
Well, see, this is the catch.
That's what I think. I think what they did. I think that one dude. I think he went and created that email account.
It seems legitimate though, dude. It actually, from you saying that, like, I had a run-in with Siege from fucking GSH a while ago where he was like doing screenshots of me, and they actually were talking about like photoshopping a conversation between me and Sabu. So it wouldn't be surprised if fucking somebody like did that shit to your email account and they boosted this shit and we're just like, hey, we're gonna put this out here for people to attack, because from what Justice told me was they were doing that to fucking get the heat off of Aaron.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. Can't get heat off of fucking fire.
Not at all, dude. That kid's hot as fuck, and like I don't get the fame fact shit that he's trying to pull when he's running around telling everybody, oh, I'm this, I'm that, dude. You haven't been around that long. Like the conversations that I've seen that kid has, it's just nothing but I'm a journalist, I'm this, I'm that. Dude, you're a fucking fame fag. Like you do this to get noticed by people. I don't do this shit to get noticed by people because I don't give a fuck about what people think about me. I give a fuck about what's right. I give a fuck about the truth, and that's just the way it is.
I think a lot of people have forgotten that.
Old fags unite. So how the fuck are you guys tonight, man?
I think most of us are like tired after fucking 4 hours. Oh my god, man.
Yeah, It's about
Home stretch.
time to wrap it up. Let me see. To our listeners, we'll be on the same time at 7 p.m. Pacific. We will be having on John. Who are we having on?
Yeah, we got multiple guests coming, right?
Yeah, I think we're trying to have.
I think one of them is listening now.
Oh, the lawyer.
No, I think I invited Commander X too. And
Commander X. Yeah.
I know that
thank
name.
him too for restreaming this tonight. He's streaming this right now through his radio station.
Good shit. Good shit. Nice to see you there, Commander. I know that name. I know names. That's the best thing about it is you can't float too far. If you guys ever need intel on people, just ask me. I'll tell you who the fuck they are. I have no problem finding them. And I don't know if any of you guys have my tool list, but I think I put tool list in the chat for you guys not too long ago. If not, Hive, I can send it to you now. Just let me know if you want it. It's definitely like a pedo hunter's dreamscape. It's got voter record search. It's got all kinds of shit for you. I'll send it to you now.
Tools.
Oh, it's ridiculous! How much there's Black Book online. I've got a whole lot of shit. I got my tool list from an old ass Anon, but I will definitely. Actually, you have a chat line in here, don't you? I can add that in here. Let me see. Yes, I will add this to you guys. Oh, there's the death threat. I just saw that in there. So I will add these tools for you guys in the in your chat room. That way, if you guys need a backup bunch of tools, you have my personal tools.
Just a heads up to anybody who's listening. The OSINT tools from Intellis, they don't work on Facebook anymore. Because remember they changed some of the identifiable information, so not all of the functions work like they used to.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
That's why you leave Facebook and
fucking Facebook. I've never ever been on a platform that just I can't even it's ridiculous how bad they are.
I actually has someone heard anything about BitChute? Because
Tool drop.
Yes, we've investigated into that, but I don't believe they're using RTMP streaming. So I need to figure out how to implement it into the software that I'm using.
Well, no, that one asshat told me that BitChute. He told me you're going to be profiting off Anonymous if you use BitChute. I was like, how's that? He's like, well, they're going to be introducing cryptocurrency or something into the platform to where you're going to make money off of it just by using it.
Okay, so we're do they really want to throw that shit? Okay, here's my deal. All right, I don't know if you guys know Donnie Fickles at all. Donnie Fickles is the founder of ClownSec. Don is the one who had this idea that said, you know what, we're done with this mask. All right, so any of you familiar with my Anon store?
Yes.
All right, so you know who runs that? Larry runs that. So why is it okay for Larry to make money using anonymous stuff, shirts, T-shirts, hats, clothes, anything of that? Why is it all right for him to do it, but people bitch about people making profits off anonymous? But this guy's selling T-shirts every day. You see what I'm saying? That's hypocritical in my mind. And I had Jill, oh God, this girl, you guys probably know her. I can't even remember her last name on here, but Jill came at me sideways one night and in another chat about that. They're like, Don Fickles is profiting. He's selling memorabilia. All right. We have coins for ClownSec. We have a radio. If you guys want to check out our clownsec.net, that's our radio program. We have clownsec.com/TV. You can watch videos on that. We have all this stuff. But I'm saying we sell gear to help. The money that we get back from the shit that we sell, like our T-shirts and stuff, goes to charity. It's not like this guy's profiting off of it. We use a non-profit t-shirt company to sell our things. You know what I mean? Our coins, everything that we sell, like Don maybe get $2 or $3 back, but the rest of it goes to charity.
But I think the issue with Anonymous doing it is it makes it a hypocritical thing, considering the fact that it makes us no better than a corporation if we profit.
I believe that. I believe that too. But I mean, like, but you see the hypocrisy in it, though. I mean, like, how can you get mad about one guy selling stuff when you have another person who's doing the same thing? On the other hand, it's just sheer hypocrisy in itself. Like Jillian Gray, that's her name. I couldn't remember her last name, but she's a good girl. She's from SoCal and she does a lot of activist work, but she just gets so livid when I mention it to her. She's like, "Oh, Donnie does this, Donnie does that." I'm like, Larry does this. Larry Comiskey does that. He sells you guys t-shirts. He sells you everything. He doesn't profit either. It's his own shop. But the whole point is, like, he's doing exactly what you're bitching about. So there's no reason for you to even get mad at us because we sell t-shirts. We sell coins. You know, I can't even anymore.
Well, you guys aren't doing it in the name of Anonymous either.
No, it's just it's Honk the Planet. It's Clownsec, dude. We do it on clownsec.com. Even if you look at it, we go to Spreadshirt, I think, whatever it is, but it spreads something for our shirts. But it's non-profit organization. They're not making money off of us. The money that comes back, we give back to people. I guess, and I've been talking a lot, so if you guys get tired of me, just tell me to shut the fuck up. But we've all been doing this for a while. You know what I mean? We all know what the idea is, and I guess this is my problem is, like, maybe are we not portraying the idea to these new faggots that come running around? Are we not explaining it to them?
Are too busy watching We Are Legion and assuming that's what Anonymous is.
Dude, and like I have said before, and I know you've heard me, when did we go from raiding a fucking hotel into this super secret hacker group? I missed that fucking memo along the way, dude. Since when we closed the pool down, you know what I mean? Pool's closed. Betards to I'm gonna dox you. Like, well, I don't know. It's not even scary anymore.
Well,
we used to be the final boss.
Remember, there was a divide with Anonymous during that time when Scientology happened.
Right. And it just spread, and it's just there's so many fractures and so many fissures anymore. It's just like, what the fuck is going on? You don't even know who's who anymore.
But the terrorist criminal image is of course created by the media to, like, criminalize them all, right? Like,
always.
Hey guys, we have like a couple minutes before they cut us off.
Oh yeah.
Hey, we made.
Hey, whose thread is this? Whose feed is this? I might be able to talk to Jeff Kenyon and figure out another platform to use other than YouTube, because Jeff Kenyon uses. I'll get a hold of him. You guys just hit me up. You guys know where I'm at. I'll talk to him and figure out, because he runs his talk show, which is Wait a Sec. You guys know any of those cats from Wait a Sec? Jeff Kenyon and all them.
Yes, we do.
All right, Wait a Sec. They run, like, I used to be on their radio program, but he runs. Talk to Jeff. If you can get a hold of Jeff Kenyon, talk to him and find out, because, like, his shit goes on. Like, they cut you off, but we still run on after that. We have an after show.
Yeah, but like if you're like on like you have like a Facebook page and you have these stream, the limit is like 4 hours, and you can do it again, like a second part, but the limit is again like 4 hours.
Yeah, and I got like
That's
work.
stupid,
I got like
though.
work tomorrow.
4 hours.
Yeah, I gotta work it too. But there's so much stuff to talk about, though. You know what I mean? There's so much to talk about. Like, you can't really limit it you can't limit it the spectrum of everything into like this 4 hour slot. There's so much festivity going on in the world.
That's why they have shows.
How are the UN sites still down? I haven't even checked.
The what sites?
The UN sites are down. Like, there were like 12 or 13 UN sites that were gone earlier today.
Yeah, all these United Nations sites. Yeah.
I have no idea.
Good. Yeah, like I was talking to Delete earlier, like under his UN account, and he was telling me that I got a couple of them. Like, Odd countries. Like I know Russia was down earlier. I was talking to George Lennox about it earlier. We were like watching that, and there was literally like a list of like 13 or 14. You might have to check DT's page. I know he had them on there. And I just want to watch that shit because everything that's going out, the union needs to go.
It was the harvardmun.org, unakrtonline.org, yeah, un.org.al, unran.org. Many UN sites are all like down.
That was just like 12 UN sites that were gone.
Spain,
So you see what happens when I make a video?
You gotta send me that picture that you made for me, or let's post it on my page. I'll put that as my header because, like, somehow I went in to like try to save it and it deleted the picture that you sent to my inbox.
With that, oh, that picture I sent you?
Yeah, the chlorophobia picture. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I did like that though. That bee was badass looking.
You know how long it took me to find that fucking bee?
Dude, that shit was sick. That shit was like way intense looking. He was like ready to fuck you up.
I posted it in the chat.
Yeah, I like that. That was a sharp picture. So I guess I'll keep my Hangouts up. I don't normally use Hangouts, but
Yeah,
not too bad.
we've been trying to move to other platforms, but the other applications that we've tried to integrate into the streaming program just doesn't really.
What about this? Does Discord help you?
You can get into Discord, but like it has problems using OBS. Like it works, but it doesn't function like 100%.
No, I got you. Yeah. Well, I'll talk to Jeff Kenny and I'll catch back up with you about it. I don't know what he runs off of. It's either that or actually if you can catch Daniel Lozzi, because it's Daniel Lozzi that actually runs the program. He's on Facebook.
I know they both use Hangouts too for much of their stuff.
Yeah, both of them. I know Daniel's generally on Hangouts.
Yeah, there's a more secure one out there. It's called Wire.
We have to try out that Wire thing too, for sure.
Well, supposedly they say it's encrypted. I haven't actually really checked. But...
Hey, somebody told me that one of the encrypted apps was it Whisper? One of those apps was secured, but I had somebody taking fucking screenshots
Wicker.
and sending them to me.
Wicker.
Yes, Wicker is not secured at all. I had somebody that was taking pictures of that shit.
It's not.
They were taking pictures and sending me screenshots.
I think it's not secure because the data at some point is set in plain text at some point.
So it's easily fucking grabbed out.
Yeah. They said it was NSA. They said it was unhackable, like even to NSA standards. But I'm like, well, I've heard otherwise.
Well, when somebody sends me a screenshot of a picture of a chat that I'm having with them just to show me that it's not secured, like I'm gonna buy that shit. Because she sent me that picture and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like this was supposed to be the most secure fucking, like Wicker was supposed to be the most secure, like communication.
I think Signal, and for email it's LavaBit, or was LavaBit.
Hey, Signal is like full end-to-end encrypted, right?
Yeah, that's
I would hope so.
That's something that we talked about on the show earlier. This is something that lawyers use for confidentiality for high federal cases.
So it's got to be somewhat safe.
Yeah.
Nothing safe.
Well, safer.
The only safe thing to me is a fucking straight up dial up landline. You can't beat that dial up shit.
Well, the telecom companies, they can listen. They can just get a search warrant and just get that. If they're recording it at some place, you can probably get the information.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like, there's no security anywhere anymore. Nobody's safe. Everybody's fucking watched. Garbage ass.
Yeah, at the same time, the guys that are looking, they have to go through all that shit, and they can't handle it all. It's like data overload.
Oh, they deserve it then.
Yeah,
If they're that
God.
busy or worried about what the fuck I'm talking about on the Facebook when I'm or Twitter when I'm trolling somebody, you need to fuck off. I would just run you around a circle.
Oh no, I think I'd watch you for amusement.
Oh, dude, I love you know, and I love it, dude. It's not me. It's just sarcasm, and like my dad taught me how to be a cynic. I'm a very cynical person, and I guess you see it in my trolling. But it's not me trying to be an asshole to people. I'm just so fed up with the shit that I see that it's just,
You're not a
you know,
troll.
oh, nope, I'm a troll.
No,
No,
you're not.
I guess it's just like I feel like saying the things that people want to say. You know what I mean? Like I guess the anonymity of the internet just makes it easier. And I'm not saying that I'm a fucking keyboard warrior because I'm far from it. I just put it out there the way it needs to be put out. You know, I had somebody fucking with Steel earlier today. Like, she's a good girl. She's Destructor969. This dude came sideways at her. And as soon as I came on the thread, he blocked me. Just like that, a non-expectus. Like, that bitch blocked me 5 times. Aaron blocked me fucking 5 times. Like, even, like, who else was on that fucking thread? That Anon Never Forget kid? What's that kid about? Like, who the fuck is that kid? I was just like, dude, like you come on here and you try to play Captain Sabo and Mr. White Knight, and then you get served, and then you block people, and then you talk shit about me behind a block, like where I can't see it. Like,
How do
at least
people
have
block
balls.
people? Why do people block people? You can never settle your differences with blocking them.
Like,
No.
well, this is the whole thing, but they block you and then they follow you on their other accounts. Like, as soon as a non-expectus blocked me, she followed me on that Mahal account. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you're so easy to track down. And then DTE put up all her fucking deets up. I was like, Jesus Christ, she's got like 20 fucking email accounts. Like, I can't even bust 4 of them on Twitter before they ban me. So how do you have fucking all these extra accounts?
She's good
But
at
you can
that,
fuck-
man. That's the one thing she is good at. She can make a fucking account. That makes me wonder about her.
Well, that and the tag of the FBI shit. Do these people not know what they like? And I've looked at it before. When you tag FBI, it says this is not a tip line. So why would you fucking tag them? That's like Roy. Look, Hive, do you remember when I went at Roy? Roy would one time, dude. I went hardcore at Roy. Roy's real name is Roberto Raimondo. He's from Italy. This fucking retard came sideways at me hard as he could, and as soon as I fucking went at him, he blocked me. And then he went in and like he started going through the pictures that I would post and like started reporting pictures. He got pissed off, and I don't know if any of you guys have seen my fucking 2017 Million Mass March the gay bathhouse meme. Like, he reported that. And it's laws, dude. Do these people not remember where we started from? We started from laws. Laws are what makes life happen. Laws are everything. It's not about making a message. It's about the laws. And if you can get a laugh out of everything, dude, it's what we were built on. We're not built on hacking people. We're building on fucking people up. We are basically trolls. We were old school trolls from fucking 20 years ago. I just don't get this shit. They put that mask on there, and this is what kills me about the mask, and this is what George Lennox and I talk about all the time, is that mask is a Warner Brothers syndicate. It is Warner Brothers. Anybody that buys that mask is paying back the Jew people that you're bitching about. You're paying back the elites by buying the shit they sell you. I don't understand it.
And where did
I can't really talk because I have the tattoo on my hand.
Hey guys,
I can't tell.
I actually really have to wrap it up. I have to go with the outro credits so we can keep the call line open.
No, word, dude. It's all good. We can sit here and bullshit.
All right.
Yeah,
I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly.